is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by Progressive Insurance.
I'm Linda Kenyon. For the first time, the U.S. has struck a target inside the nation of Venezuela. More from CBS's Michael Wallace.
President Trump says the strike last week was on what he called an implementation area.
There was a major explosion in the dock area where they load the boats up with drugs.
He didn't say where the facility was. He has not confirmed reports the CIA carried out the strike. U.S. Southern Command says it took out another alleged drug-running boat in a known narco-trafficking route in the Eastern Pacific yesterday, killing 2 people. That makes 30 strikes on alleged drug boats since early September, with 107 people killed. Michael Wallace, CBS News.
President Trump is warning Iran against reconstituting its nuclear program.
I hope they're not trying to build up again, because if they are, we're going to have no choice but very quickly to eradicate that buildup.
The president made that comment as he hosted Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu at his home in Florida for talks on the next phase of the Gaza ceasefire. Brian Cole is appearing at a court hearing today. He's the man who confessed to placing 2 pipe bombs on Capitol Hill the night before the January 6th attack at the U.S. Capitol building. CBS's Scott MacFarlane has the latest.
It's going to be a detention hearing for Brian Cole. Prosecutors have to argue why Cole needs to be held in jail pre-trial. They've already argued that he confessed to being the Capitol Hill pipe bomber, that he did so out of anger or frustration with both political parties and had no connection to the January 6th insurrection. Cole hasn't entered a plea yet. This will be his first appearance since just after his arrest.
The Department of Homeland Security is conducting a fraud investigation in Minneapolis involving child care facilities and other businesses.
This is the branch of DHS Homeland Security Investigations that investigates and prosecutes criminal activity that has a criminal, immigration, and international nexus. So human trafficking, for example, child exploitation, and yes, fraud.
CBS News immigration reporter Camilo Montoya Galvez. A brutal winter storm has brought snow, ice, and strong winds to the Midwest. CBS News meteorologist Rob Marciano has more.
The storm's massive front spawned tornadoes in Illinois as the cold air collided with spring-like temperatures. And another 1 to 3 feet of lake-effect snow is forecast in western New York and Pennsylvania, where temperatures are expected to drop well below freezing ahead of the new year.
Thousands of flights were delayed or canceled on this busy holiday travel week during what has been termed a bomb cyclone weather system. The storm is now moving northeast. This is CBS News.
Sponsored by Progressive Insurance. Take the next step forward in your career with great benefits and an award-winning workplace. Apply at careers.progressive.com.
At 6:03, we have clear skies. It's around 19 degrees at the Gateway Arch. It is Tuesday, December 30th. Good morning. I'm Scott Jagow.
And I'm Debbie Monterey. The major case squad investigating a double murder at the TA Travel Center truck stop in Forestel. That's what police sources are telling our news partners at Fox 2. The shootings took place late Monday night, and that truck stop is off I-70 at Highway T, and more details as they become available.
A North St. Louis County man is charged with first-degree murder in the stabbing death of his grandmother. County police say 37-year-old Ronald Allred III confessed to stabbing 81-year-old Fanny Allred in her home on Sunday.
He also allegedly stabbed the woman's 2 French bulldogs, but police say the dogs are expected to survive. In addition to the murder charge in St. Louis County, Ronald Allred faces a resisting arrest charge in St. Louis City due to a Sunday afternoon standoff there.
Missouri's Republican leaders remain steadfast in their goal to eliminate the state income tax next session. Now, one leader is warning the budget is at risk.
Blaming a combination of elevated spending due to COVID and reduced revenue with the elimination of the capital gains tax, State Auditor Scott Fitzpatrick says the state's financial health is being jeopardized. In his year-end report, Auditor Fitzpatrick warns the $4 billion surplus could become a $4 billion deficit if the economy were to enter a recession. Fitzpatrick calls state spending since 2020 a quote-unquote unsustainable explosion and urges lawmakers to make tough decisions now to prevent emergency budget cuts from being necessary in the months and years ahead. The report says the state will deplete its general revenue fund balance by 2028 if next year's expenditures and revenue growth remains the same. Sean Malone, KMOX News.
The man in charge of writing the state's checkbook says the auditor's report comes as no surprise. House Budget Committee Chair Dirk Deaton issued a statement agreeing with the auditor's findings. Deaton says the committee has known about the structural deficit for a year and is already making decisions with that reality in mind.
The ACLU is suing to block the redrawn Missouri congressional maps from being implemented. This is before a referendum puts the maps before voters. Our legal analyst, Brad Young, says their argument is more precedent than it is case law.
The ACLU cites going back at least 30, 40 years that when there's a challenge to something like this, that it automatically suspends the implementation of the law until it can be actually decided by a referendum.
The lawsuit comes after the group People Not Petitions submitted over 300,000 signatures to put the new map on the ballot. The Missouri Attorney General and Secretary of State say the maps take effect until the signatures are verified, and that could take months.
Recent winter weather canceled several blood drives in Missouri, leaving the American Red Cross urgently calling for blood donations. Jill Eves with the Red Cross says donations are always important, but especially during December and January when blood supplies run low. As an added thank you, anyone who donates blood or platelets between January 1st and the 25th will be entered for a chance to win a trip for two to the Super Bowl in California.
An economic development group working to grow new business in Missouri says 2025 has been a strong year.
Alan Dillingham of Missouri Technology Corporation, which awards grants and loans to startup businesses, says this year they've invested $60 million in over 170 early-stage companies in Missouri. Those companies then raised $2.2 billion with a B in additional private capital, which is a condition of getting a grant or loan from the state. He says those investments have led to 8,000 new Missouri jobs.
They're all high-growth type tech companies that are in the ag space and the bio space. So there's several of them.
The MTC just received $33 million from the federal government to continue to award more small businesses. Dillingham says if they're able to use it all, the state could apply for another $33 million. The MTC was originally created by the Missouri General Assembly. Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
The holiday travel period continues, but not without delays. FlightAware reporting 8 delays, 0 cancellations at St. Louis Lambert International Airport this morning. 5 of those delays involve Southwest Airlines. It's possible that the number of delays will change. So if you have a plane to catch or someone to pick up, check the flight status before heading off to the airport.
The Business Desk is sponsored by Krentz Financial Group, KFGadvisors.com. With the minimum wage in Missouri increasing to $15 an hour on January 1st, a coalition of business owners says the boost will improve costly employee turnover. It'll also boost productivity and improve customer service. Voters approved the wage hike with Proposition A in 2024.
Business for a Fair Minimum Wage says it's unfortunate that Governor Kehoe overrode the will of the people by repealing mandatory sick leave along with the annual minimum wage cost of living adjustment that was set to resume in 2027. Other groups like the Missouri Chamber of Commerce, Missouri Grocers Association, and Missouri Restaurant Association sued to overturn the voter-approved measure, saying it would lead to higher costs for customers.
Still to come, Total Information AM, promising news when it comes to Alzheimer's treatments. That is after traffic and weather together. Next, it is 6:09.
I dared Archwell Health to keep track of my vitals and my grandkids' names.
I dared Archwell Health to simplify my prescriptions, so Max and I have more time to play. Good boy.
And I dared Archwell Health to be closer than my neighborhood coffee shop.
Our members dared us to do more as a primary care provider for adults age 60 and up. So we made it our mission. Visit archwellhealth.com and become a member today. Archwell Health. We dare to care.
Reel in the big one at the best fishing expo in the Midwest, the Let's Go Fishing Show on January 2nd through 4th at Gateway Convention Center in Collinsville. Visit vendors with the latest fishing boats, rods, reels, tackle, accessories, resorts, and guided services. Shop unique one-of-a-kind items and top-of-the-line marine electronics at discount prices. Attend free seminars. Meet pro anglers, Bassmaster Elite Series Pro, Brandon Palaniuk, Carl Jacobson, and more. Free fishing pond. Win prizes from Canoe Canada and Tri-State Trolling Motors. Visit letsgoshows.com for coupons and more info.
Attention. Have you racked up $10,000 or more in credit card debt? Are you barely getting by making minimum payments? With credit card debt reaching all-time highs, National Debt Relief is notifying consumers about significant debt relief options currently being made available to help those with overwhelming credit card debt. These options may reduce a large portion of credit card debt for those who qualify. You don't need to declare bankruptcy or take out a consolidation loan, and you may only have to pay back a fraction of what you owe, even if you have bad credit. National Debt Relief has already reduced the credit card debt for more than 550,000 consumers. So don't wait. If you owe $10,000, $20,000, or even $100,000 in credit card debt, you can now take advantage of this financial debt relief as the cost of living continues to skyrocket. To check what debt reduction you may qualify for, call 800-358-6868. That's 800-358-6868. Again, 800-358-6868.
This hour of Total Information AM is sponsored by Gamma Tree Experts.
It is 6:11. Let's check in with Roger Brand and get the latest for you from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, it's a nice morning out there, depending on where you are. I don't really think you're going to have any problems no matter where you are, but right now things are good to go all the way around the area. I just had another stall they just cleared westbound 64 just west of Lake St. Louis Boulevard. The earlier one 10 minutes ago was South 270 Big Bend, so no delays through those areas. Still seeing a little bit of a delay now as we get a few more folks on the roads on southbound 79. Well, it impacts you both directions, I guess, but southbound 79 at TR Hughes. We had signal problems reported last Friday. MoDOT still has an icon up that it could be an issue, and I'm still seeing delays there. Or I'm seeing delays for the first time there this morning. So I have to assume that those are still an issue. But again, just a very brief delay there so far. Next update at 6:20 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
A frigid start to the day. Sunshine mixing with clouds at times. Cold this afternoon, high 35. Tonight, clear to partly cloudy and brisk low 27. Clouds and some sunshine tomorrow. Not quite as cold in the afternoon, high 42. Thursday, New Year's Day, will be cold with more clouds and sun, high 36. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Thank you, Joe. Right now it is 19 in St. Peter's, about 20 in Florissant under clear skies. We have 19 downtown at the Gateway Arch.
At 6:12, a St. Louis County man accused of breaking out of a police squad car while en route to the county jail Monday morning. Police say 35-year-old Dante Wallace faces a felony escape charge now. He reportedly opened a passenger door of the police car and ran for it before being captured in the South Brentwood and Venetian Drive area. Police say Wallace was first under arrest for trespassing and possession of drug paraphernalia.
There's promising news when it comes to possible Alzheimer's treatments.
A couple of recent studies offer some new hope. One out of WashU, where research led by Dr. Randy Bateman is studying early onset Alzheimer's disease and when to begin treatment to try to prevent cognitive decline. Another study is melting away the tiny protein clusters that are the early triggers of the disease. Fox News senior medical analyst Dr. Mark Siegel.
Researchers in Tokyo are finding a way to get it before it ever forms that hard protein. We're not in humans yet with it. It's just the beginning, but it's definitely a step in the right direction, because if you can prevent that tau protein from forming, you may never get Alzheimer's.
Fred Bottomer, KMOX News.
The top watchdog in Illinois found hundreds of state employees who took millions in PPP loans. We get the story from Mallory Vorbroker.
America's museum that commemorates the life and times of Prime Minister Winston Churchill is one step closer to becoming a national landmark. Legislation doing so, sponsored by Missouri U.S. Senator Josh Hawley, passed the upper chamber unanimously earlier this month.
The National Park Service will administer and maintain so that generations of Americans and people of goodwill everywhere can come to that site and learn about Churchill's speech, and perhaps more fundamentally, learn about the principles of liberty and conscience and faith and moral virtue.
Churchill gave his famous Iron Curtain speech in 1946 at Westminster College in Fulton. That's where the museum is located. The grounds include a church, the ruins of which were moved from England to Missouri and reassembled. It also includes a preserved section of the Berlin Wall.
Overhead Door Company of St. Louis, the genuine, the original, present 100 years of KMOX.
It's over!
There when St. Louis celebrated.
And the St. Louis Blues are the Stanley Cup champions for the first time in franchise history!
A former captain, Bernie, you've always wanted the Stanley Cup in the city of St. Louis, but now that it's here, what can you say about the group of guys that did it?
Oh my God, this was the ultimate team. Going to go down as one of the greatest stories maybe of all time in the NHL.
Petro, how does it feel knowing that your name's going to forever be on this?
Wow. It's crazy to think about. I think it's all starting to sink in right now as I'm walking down right now the street. It's pretty amazing.
This is only going to be one of many Stanley Cups that we win here because we bleed blue.
There for every headline, every heartbreak, every heartbeat. KMOX, the voice of St. Louis.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. One question I'm always asked is how did you become the largest injury firm in the world with over 1,000 attorneys and $25 billion in verdicts and settlements? One way was our financial strength. Medical malpractice is the third leading cause of death in America. To prosecute a typical case costs up to $250,000 in case cost. We advance them all. Product liability cases can have similar costs with an army of lawyers on the other side. Automobile insurance companies have the resources to fight. Guess what? So do we. Many law firms simply may not have the financial firepower to work up your case the way you deserve. And we don't charge by the hour. No recovery, no fee. If you have a question about your case or wish to become a client, go to forthepeople.com on your mobile device or computer 24/7. It's that easy. Morgan & Morgan.
Injured? Dial pound law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Total Information AM. Debbie Monterey, Megan Lynch, Tom Ackerman on 104.1 FM KMOX.
It is 6:20. You're listening to Total Information AM. I'm Debbie Monterey, along with Scott Jago and Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, we have an easygoing morning. No surprise, Debbie. This traffic report service of Pine Valley Assisted Living. The only place we've got delays, looks like we have an incident northbound 270 at the ramp getting on to, or northbound 55 rather, at the ramp getting on to North 270. I'm seeing that ramp back up a little bit, and it's just a touch slow at Bayless. Like I said, Tuesday mornings tend to be busier than Monday mornings, but right now that's the worst of it there. Still seeing a little bit of a delay southbound 79 at TR Hughes. Again, we've had signal problems. I believe they're still out there. That MoDOT has not taken their little warning marker down that they've been repaired, and those occurred on last Friday, so it looks like it's still an issue. If you're normally traveling that way, just be prepared for that. And I'm still seeing a little bit of a delay on Lions Den Road at Old Highway 21. We had a police incident reported there just a short time ago. Next update at 6:30 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Looking for a beautiful, all-inclusive place for your loved one? Happy holidays from Pine Valley Assisted Living. Secure a room between now and January 31st and take advantage of our move-in special. Enjoy affordable rates with absolutely no hidden fees. Experience the beautiful life at Pine Valley. Visit rspseniorliving.com today.
It is going to be appropriately chilly as we head into 2026. Frigid this morning, but we'll have sunshine mixing with clouds this afternoon and a high of 35. Not quite as cold tomorrow morning. The overnight low 27. Then we're all the way up to 42 tomorrow. For New Year's Day, it's 36, 42 on Friday, and around 40 as we head into the weekend. Right now, it is 17 in St. Peter's, 18 in Florissant, clear and 18 downtown at the Arch.
6:22, and the news continues on KMOX. St. Louis County residents wanting an environmentally friendly way to dispose of their Christmas trees can drop them off at one of 4 sites. Undecorated trees can be dropped off through January 18th at Spanish Lake Park's main parking lot, Creve Coeur Lake's Sailboat Cove lot, Queenie Park's corporate parking lot, and Bee Tree Park's lake parking lot. If you have old or broken holiday lights, you can drop those off at Tillis Park's collection drop-off near the park entrance.
In this On the Road feature, CBS reporter Steve Hartman travels to Oklahoma for an update on a kid who sounds like a bird.
That is not a blue jay you're hearing, not a robin, nor a tufted titmouse. Those sounds are all coming from a Samuel, an 11-year-old Samuel Henderson.
I actually quite enjoy this.
As we first reported last spring, Samuel, who is autistic, can perfectly imitate 50 birds.
What's the hardest bird to do?
Probably the barn swallow.
How's that go? Do you ever think you might be a bird?
Yeah. Some people say that I swallowed birds.
But you haven't swallowed any birds.
No, well, chickens.
Okay.
The kid is a born entertainer.
Because we eat chicken.
Yeah, I know, I got it.
But since he mostly practiced his calls on the playground, alone along the back fence, a lot of kids at his Choctaw, Oklahoma school hadn't ever heard.
Until the annual Nakoma Park Intermediate School Talent Show. Samuel really wanted to compete, but no kid from special ed had ever participated. And this would be mostly singing and dancing and band instruments. So bird sounds? His mother was nervous.
Some kids can be mean. And
the thought of that happening to him on stage in front of the whole school.
It would just break my heart if that were to have happened.
But Lori says his teacher convinced her that Samuel needed to spread his wings, so to speak. So he took to the stage. At first, the other kids didn't know what to think.
I was like, what is this?
This is a bald eagle.
But as he continued and laid his passion bare, jaws dropped. The crowd came alive, and Samuel was not only accepted, he was admired.
He's really brave. It takes like a lot of courage to get yourself up there. He aced it. I don't think I saw one single kid not clapping their hands.
I was so happy to see him living his dreams. My heart just exploded.
It's now been 8 months since we first told this story, which went viral, leading to a slew of public appearances. His town held a Samuel Henderson Day, and Bass Pro Shops just named him its Junior Conservation Partner of the Year. But most importantly, guess who now rocks the playground? Samuel. That's who.
Everyone here can do a peacock. It goes like this.
Now that's something to crow about. Steve Hartman on the road in Choctaw, Oklahoma.
That is radio brilliance.
That is
radio
incredible.
brilliance. That kid is amazing. And also, that story is amazing, and Hartman is amazing.
The fact that he has all the kids on the playground doing bird sounds now.
I have never heard anything like that in my life.
That is fantastic. We need to have him on the show.
Yes, we do.
All right, we're working on that in the new year, folks. Fresh snow on the ground means open ski resorts for many of the ski lodges out west. Rob Havis, reporter with KTVN TV, shares this from Incline Village, Nevada.
We'll have today's local birthdays coming up later this hour at 6:55, along with some celebrities. Tiger Woods has one of those big celebrity milestone birthdays today.
Let's put it this way. This birthday makes him eligible for the 50 and older PGA Tour champions, although we don't know if he'll play. Woods has competed only 11 times since he was badly injured in the 2021 car crash, and this is the first year he didn't compete at all. He was on the links the week before last with his up-and-coming golfer son, Charlie, who's 16, and who had this to say about his dad.
Yesterday, that's the best he's ever played in a while. Kind of shocked me a little bit.
Tiger took that in stride.
Yeah, I used to be good, and so...
Michael Toscano, CBS News.
It is 6:27. The time check sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
Hey guys, Kevin Wheeler here to tell you about 213 Complex, which is available at Supplement Superstores. Look, it's the time of year to make things happen with health goals. 213 Complex will do for you what it does for me. Gets the metabolism rocking and rolling 24 hours a day, helps you fight cravings, gives you all-day focused energy with no crash that comes at the end of the day either. It's been a big help for me. It will help you. So get out to Supplement Superstores. Tell them Kevin Wheeler sent you, and they'll knock 30% off your 213 Complex. To get started down your path and find your location, just go to supplementsuperstores.com.
St. Louis City SC is teaming up again with Enterprise to salute the people who make our city shine bright. The Exceptional Neighbor program presented by Enterprise is back, and now you can help us find the class of 2026. Nominate your friend, coworker, or anyone who's going above and beyond for the STL region, and they could be featured on the pitch during halftime. Go to stlcitysc.com/exceptional neighbor now through January 9th and tell us who you think deserves to be an exceptional neighbor. Presented by Enterprise.
I'm Piera Palazzolo, VP of Digital Marketing for the American Management Association, a company focused on the management training skills needed to enhance the careers of business professionals. We did our research when it came to the best companies for website development and chose AmericanEagle.com. And we couldn't be happier. AmericanEagle.com worked closely with us to understand the front and back end requirements needed to launch an e-commerce website that could handle the complexities of running thousands of seminars nationwide. Our robust new website and improved SEO saw immediate increases in site traffic and web revenue. If you're in need of managerial effectiveness and success, visit our website at amanet.org. If you're in need of a website that provides an unparalleled consumer experience, I highly recommend AmericanEagle.com.
Transform your business today. Dial 877-WebNow1 for a free digital consultation with AmericanEagle.com.
In St. Louis, the weather can change in an instant. One day, you're under a thunderstorm warning. The next,
oh boy, it's snowing.
Stay prepared for whatever Mother Nature throws your way. When weather threatens, the KMOX Storm Center has expert forecasts and live reports here to keep you safe and informed. Don't get caught off guard. Know your weather. Sponsored by
Celica Heating and Cooling.
Want immediate cash for your home or see what your home is really worth in today's market? Find out for free from the local experts, my friends Mark and Neil Gelman of eXp Realty. Check out thegelmanteam.com today. That's thegelmanteam.com.
At 6:30, it is clear and 19 degrees downtown at the Gateway Arch. Good morning. I'm Scott Jagow.
I'm Debbie Monterey, and here's Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, we continue to roll along. We had an incident northbound 55 on the ramp to North 270. I'm sure it was probably just a stall. They quickly cleared it. There's still slow traffic in the right lanes approaching Butler Hill most of the way up to 270, but that ramp was bumper to bumper for a few minutes. It looks like the ramp is thinned out, so getting better in the area, but still some heavy traffic, at least the right lanes at that point. Now, it doesn't look bad north of there, 55 north of Bales up to River de Pears, still doing okay. We had a slowdown there 10 minutes ago. It looks good further down south, north 55 at 67 as well. Still seeing just the briefest of delays. Southbound 79 at TR Hughes. We had signal problems that began last Friday. I believe that still could be the case there. Otherwise, you look great coming in on 6470 from the Wentzville area. Route 3 just a little busy around Queenie and Monsanto at the traffic lights, but no delays on the interstates for Illinois drivers coming into downtown. Next update at 6:40 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Your weather forecast, it's going to be cold the next few days. It is late December heading into early January. High of 35 this afternoon. Overnight, not quite as cold as it's been, 27. And tomorrow we will get above 40 degrees for New Year's Day, 36, and then back to around 42 on Friday. It is 17 in St. Peter's, 18 in Florissant, and 19 downtown at the Arch.
The St. Louis Board of Aldermen unanimously passing a resolution calling for a special election to permanently replace Sheriff Alfred Montgomery. The election will be held March 3rd. Candidate filing will begin today and ends January 16th.
The election comes after Montgomery was removed from office last week. Aldermen also taking applications for interim sheriff while they fight in the courts with Mayor Spencer to have a say over who should serve in that position for a few weeks.
The Missouri Highway Patrol is investigating a Saturday night dog mauling death in Crawford County. Troopers say they found 22-year-old Angel Rawlings dead inside her Bourbon home. 2 dogs were removed from the home and placed in the care of the Cuba Animal Shelter. An autopsy will be conducted.
How much needs to be slashed from the state budget to keep Missouri in the black? Auditor Scott Fitzpatrick has a specific number in mind, and it's not small.
We need to cut around $1.5 billion in the next budget in order to balance the budget.
KMOX also asked the auditor about the governor's goal to completely eliminate the state income tax. He says that while he likes the idea of lower taxes, he won't support a full repeal until someone shows him a math problem that adds up.
If a plan is presented that makes sense, that involves totally eliminating the income tax, I'd love to see it. I'd love to be a supporter of it. But until I see what the details are, I can't tell you right now that I'd be 100% in favor of it or that I'd be against it.
Fitzpatrick warns that cutting the income tax without a way to replace that revenue would force drastic cuts to schools and roads.
The news is sponsored by Michael's Flooring Outlet, the flooring experts, michaelsflooringoutlet.com. It is 6:34.
For 100 years, KMOX has been the voice of St. Louis, informing, entertaining, and connecting our community. Now, relive a century of service at KMOX100.com, a website that allows you to explore classic KMOX audio, rare photos and video, and the legendary voices that shaped St. Louis. Every headline, every heartbreak, every heartbeat lives on at KMOX100.com.
If you or anyone you care about is facing a family legal matter, call Cordell & Cordell today at 1-855-GET-LEGAL.
There's a lot on the line in divorce. This is Joe Cordell of Cordell & Cordell, the largest family law firm in the country. with over 35 years of helping clients navigate divorce. But being big doesn't mean less personal or less local. Our attorneys live and work in your community, and as neighbors, they understand the challenges your families face. Divorce touches all areas of your life: your home, savings, retirement, and of course, kids. So when you find yourself facing divorce, you need a partner you can count on.
If you or anyone you care about is facing divorce, contact Cordell and Cordell today. With over 100,000 clients served, we understand the challenges you're facing on a personal level. Call Cordell and Cordell today at 1-855-GET-LEGAL. That's 1-855-GET-LEGAL. The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements. 600 Kelwood, St. Louis.
Brought to you by Eamon Gantner and Capriano, YourEstateMatters.com.
This is a Bloomberg Money Minute. Meta is in a big new AI-related deal. The Facebook parent agreeing to buy Manus, a Singapore-based artificial intelligence agent, to build a business around its AI investment. Checking on your money, stock futures fluctuating. Dow, S&P, and NASDAQ futures all flipping between red and green as investors look for direction and watch developments surrounding the war in Ukraine, as well as the situation in Venezuela, Iran, and also the tension between China and Taiwan. Silver recovering some losses this morning after its biggest one-day drop in more than 5 years yesterday, with a lingering supply shortage, keeping the metal on track for a monthly gain. And President Trump says he is a preferred candidate to be the next chair of the Federal Reserve, but he says he's in no hurry to make the announcement. He says Jerome Powell should resign and that he'd love to fire him, saying he still might. The president says he may make an announcement in January sometime. Denise Pellegrini, Bloomberg Radio.
Hey, this is Charlie Brennan, along with Dr. Colleen Bosler and Dr. Adam Voss at the Audiology Center. When was the last time you really enjoyed a conversation without straining to hear?
Charlie, so many people think hearing aids just make things louder.
But that's old technology. Today's hearing aids do so much more.
Exactly. With the dual chip technology, our hearing aids actually separate the speech from the background noise.
Which means, at a noisy restaurant, you'll hear your friends and family, not the clinking dishes.
And the best part? Your brain doesn't have to work overtime trying to fill in the blanks.
So that keeps your mind sharp, your conversations easy, and your relationships stronger.
Because hearing well isn't just about sound, it's about staying connected.
Thanks, Doctor. Call the Audiology Center today to schedule your annual hearing evaluation. Don't miss another moment. Call 636-441-7470 or visit the Audiology Center STL.com.
My name is Whitney Allen. I am a widow. My husband Ryan died. We never thought in a million years we'd have to use life insurance. The unexpected happened. With Ethos, it is so fast and easy. It's 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage through Ethos.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio.
Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
At Audien Hearing, our mission is simple: to make better hearing affordable for everyone. We're proud to offer high-quality, rechargeable hearing aids starting at just $98. Clear, comfortable, and ready to use right out of the box. And here's a study worth hearing. Research shows that wearing hearing aids can reduce your risk of dementia by up to 61%. Join over 1 million happy customers and hear the difference today by going to audienhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com.
Experience a celebration of movement and music as the St. Louis Symphony Orchestra and St. Louis Dance Theater join together for Stravinsky and Debussy Music and Motion. This adventurous collaboration reimagines Stravinsky's Pulcinella Suite in an entirely new way that celebrates powerful partnerships between dance and music. January 10th and 11th at Powell Hall at the Jack C. Taylor Music Center. Tickets at slso.org.
This holiday season, when you get them STIHL, batteries are included. Buy select battery tool sets and get a free extra battery. Visit STIHLUSA.com for gift ideas and seasonal savings. Happy holidays from STIHL. Offer valid for a limited time only at participating dealers while supplies last.
Wednesday afternoon, it's men's Billikens basketball as they face St. Joseph's. Pre-game 2:45, tip at 3 on your home for Billikens basketball. 104.1 FM KMOX.
It is 6:39. The U.S. military has carried out another strike on an alleged drug boat. as President Trump says they've also hit a South American port.
U.S. Southern Command says it's conducted a strike on a boat in the eastern Pacific Ocean. The military says the vessel was engaged in narco-trafficking operations, though it did not provide evidence to back up the claim. It says 2 people were killed, and that brings the reported death toll to at least 107 in 30 known boat strikes by U.S. forces in the waters off South America. The Trump administration's been building up U.S. forces in the region, aiming to pressure Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro. And President Trump told reporters Monday
there was a major explosion in the dock area where they load the boats up with drugs.
And saying the U.S. wants responsible.
So we hit all the boats, and now we hit the area. It's the implementation area. That's where they implement, and that is no longer around.
I'm Ben Thomas.
It's 6:40, time for us to get you updated on traffic and weather. A lot of you still taking the day off today, maybe the whole week, who knows? But if you're heading in or maybe heading out somewhere, Roger Brand has the latest on the road conditions from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Yeah, not much to worry about out there right now, Debbie. In fact, things continue to improve on the south side. The ramp north 55 onto north 270 is cleared out. It was backed up 20 minutes ago, 10 minutes ago. The ramp was clear, but there were delays coming up from Butler Hill now. Even those have since dissipated, so you look great there. We look great on the Illinois side. No delays across the Poplar or Musial Veterans Bridges. Still seeing a little bit of a delay. Hasn't gotten any worse, but still a slowdown. Southbound 79 at TR Hughes. We had signal problems reported there last Friday, and MoDOT's still indicating there could be problems at that area. Southbound 141 approaching Manchester looks a little busy right now southbound, and still seeing a little bit of a delay. Lions Den at Old 21 where we had an earlier incident. Next update at 6:50 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Let's check on your forecast for New Year's week. We're joined by AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg. Good morning, Joe.
Good morning, Scott. It's a quiet forecast, but it's a cold forecast. Temperatures are starting out in the teens this morning. We'll see sun mixing with clouds. It's going to be cold this afternoon, up to 35. Not as cold as yesterday, but still below average. And tonight, clear to partly cloudy, our low 27, so it won't be as cold as it is this morning. For tomorrow, clouds and some sunshine. We wander up to about 42. We ring in 2026 with cold weather. Clouds and some sun on Thursday, about 36. We'll sneak up to 42 on Friday as clouds break for some afternoon sunshine. Partly sunny on Saturday, the high 39. I do think the cold eases as we go into the beginning of next week. Right now, though, it's very cold. 17 at St. Peter's and in Florissant. Clear 19 downtown at the Arch. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
It is now 6:42, and a brutal winter storm brought snow, ice, and strong winds to the Midwest. Thousands of flights were delayed or canceled on a busy holiday travel week. And now that storm is moving to the northeast. CBS's meteorologist Rob Marciano has more.
The holiday travel period continues this week, but not without delays. FlightAware reporting a total of 16 delays and 0 cancellations at St. Louis's Lambert Airport this morning. 11 of those involve Southwest. If you have to catch a plane, just check your flight status before heading to the airport.
Brian Cole, the person who has confessed to placing 2 pipe bombs on Capitol Hill the night before the January 6th Capitol attack, is appearing at a court hearing today. We get more from CBS News Justice correspondent Scott McFarlane.
National Guard troops are arriving in New Orleans today to help secure the city's New Year's Eve celebrations. This a year after the deadly truck attack on Bourbon Street.
Hundreds of Guard members will help with road closures around the French Quarter and other locations. Troops were also in the Big Easy earlier this year for Mardi Gras and the Super Bowl. Chris Wolf works security for the Bourbon Street nightclub, The Beach on Bourbon.
I don't think it hurts to have some National Guard guys out here. I mean,
somebody did it once doesn't mean that they won't do it again, or at least try.
New Orleans police say the Guard troops will not be involved in the ongoing immigration enforcement in the city. Michael Wallace, CBS News.
The victims involved in a mid-air collision of 2 helicopters over New Jersey have died of their injuries. CBS News' Ray Strickland has more. It is now 6:45.
Hey, St. Louis City SC fans, mark your calendars now. The Boys in Red return to Energizer Park to kick off Season 4 Saturday, February 21st. And you could be there for the dawn of a new golden era of St. Louis soccer. Go to stlcitysc.com/tickets and reserve your seat now for the MLS home opener versus Charlotte FC. Limited quantities remain. See you soon, St. Louis.
If you're one of the millions of Americans behind on your taxes, if you're afraid to open your mail because IRS collection letters could be coming, listen carefully. The IRS is cracking down, taking paychecks, freezing bank accounts, revoking passports. That's a fact. But here's what most people don't know. There are official tax relief programs designed to help struggling taxpayers. Programs that could save you thousands if you qualify. No one knows these programs better than the experts at Optima Tax Relief. safe. Optima's award-winning team will fight to protect your paycheck, your passport, and your property. Their tax attorneys and licensed tax professionals will work tirelessly to get you the best deal possible with the IRS. Every day, penalties and interest keep piling up, so don't wait. Call Optima now for a free consultation.
Call 800-348-0269. 800-348-0269. 800-348-0269.
Optima Tax Relief. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Winter Wonderland, presented by St. Louis County Parks and Recreation at Tillis Park, is now open through January 3rd. Enjoy more than 1 million dazzling lights with holiday characters and festive scenes. Whether you're carrying on a family tradition or starting a new one, you'll never see anything like Winter Wonderland at Tillis Park. Happy holidays from Kirkwood Fence, Tully Tire, Washington University Orthopedics, Restoration One, and Happy Roof. More info at KMOX.com.
Total Information AM on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
At 6:50, an update on the roads from Roger Brand and the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, getting out and getting going is not a problem. In fact, you can probably hang back and have another cup of coffee and enjoy your morning, because once you hit the highways, you'll be making good time. 55 still looks great down in Festus and north of Bayless and the work zones, north 270, 55 all the way up to 44 in both directions between 64 and Ladue on 270, still hustling along. Eastbound 70 and 64, great coming out of Wentzville. Southbound 79, just a little bit of a slowdown at TR Hughes. Doesn't look as bad as it did 10 minutes ago. And downtown, we're still good to go westbound across the Poplar and Musel Veterans Bridges, Illinois interstates, equally as lightly occupied. Next update at 6:58 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Sponsored by Gloria Lou with your home sold guaranteed realty 314-325-6888.
Need to sell your home and you want the most money? The name to remember is Gloria Lou. Yes, Gloria Lou with your home sold guaranteed realty at 314-325-6888 and start packing.
It's a really cold start to the day for sure, but it's going to warm up to about 35 degrees with some sunshine mixing with clouds. Tomorrow, partly sunny, 42, and for New Year's Day, 36 with more clouds than sun. Right now, we've got 19 degrees.
The news continues at 6:52. A St. Charles County judge has been fired for playing politics on the bench. The Missouri Supreme Court ruled unanimously yesterday to remove Judge Matthew Thornhill from office effective immediately.
The court found that Thornhill's habit of discussing political candidates and ballot issues during court sessions led the public to believe they had to agree with his politics to get a favorable ruling. Governor Mike Kehoe will now be tasked with appointing a replacement to serve out the rest of the term.
A new study shows 3 in 4 breast cancer patients have been exposed to health misinformation. CBS News correspondent Michael George.
A study published in JAMA found that medical misinformation is incredibly widespread, including false claims that vaccines or cell phones cause breast cancer and false claims that vitamins or certain foods will prevent it. Social media was the main source of misinformation.
We're ending the year with some good news about promising Alzheimer's treatments.
Here's a list the car makers don't want to be on. According to a new report, Ford came in first place with the greatest number of recalls this year, a whopping 152.
The company broke a 10-year-old record set by GM in 2014 with almost 13 million vehicles affected. Second place went to Chrysler at a much lower score of 53. General Motors, Volkswagen, and Mercedes-Benz round out the top 5.
I heard it's somebody's birthday.
Birthday excitement. It's your birthday.
Today's birthday shout-out That is sponsored by Renner Garage Door, RENNER, forward and back, family owned and top rated. RennerDoorSTL.com. Today, Tracy Ullman is 66, Tiger Woods turns 50, and LeBron James is 41 years old.
Local celebrity birthdays include Linda Patrick from Yesterday's Kids, Amy Heller, Barb Furdeck. Happy 33rd to Matt Adams from Grandma and Grandpa Adams. Happy birthday wishes going out to Chris Summers and Martin Casas.
This is the best birthday ever.
It is college soccer's oldest and most prestigious award. It is soccer's equivalent of the Heisman Trophy. It's the Herman Trophy, named for Robert R. Herman, former chairman of the executive committee of the North American Soccer League and one of its founders. The Herman Trophy has been awarded every year since 1967, with some of the most prestigious names in soccer receiving the award. This year, January 9th, at the Missouri Athletic Club, the MAC Herman Trophy will be handed out to the top men's and women's players in America. Decided by both Division I college coaches as well as passionate fans, the Missouri Athletic Club Herman Trophy is the most definitive and most prestigious annual award in the realm of collegiate soccer. Join us on January 9th at the Missouri Athletic Club in downtown St. Louis to etch another year in history. Visit us online at machermantrophy.com and mac-stl.org.
If you owe the IRS, you have a legal issue, and you need the Lance Drury Law Firm. We'll protect your rights. Log on at lancedrurylaw.com.
Don't miss Mosby Building Arts Home Improvement Shows Saturdays from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. on KMOX. One of the last call-in shows where you can get live answers to your remodeling, design, and construction questions. Tune in Saturdays at 11 a.m.
If you're drowning in IRS debt and can't afford to pay, then you need to take advantage of special IRS tax programs that are available and free yourself from IRS collection efforts once and for all. Due to the financial hardship consumers are facing throughout the country, the Internal Revenue Service has made it easier to settle delinquent tax problems. An open phone line has been established by Community Tax for consumers to call and see if they qualify. Take down this number or store it in your cell phone, but call the Community Tax Helpline at 800-269-3454. If you owe back taxes to the IRS and cannot afford to pay them back, or even if you have years of unfiled tax returns, there's no need to fear anymore. But you have to call the Community Tax Helpline today at 800-269-3454 for the help that you need. Don't take on the IRS alone. They can attack your wages, savings, pension, home, and even your Social Security check. Call 800-269-3454 for your free consultation and to see if you qualify. That's 800-269-3454.
Minutes before 7 o'clock, Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, easy traffic out there this morning, Scott. No surprise. I mean, it's a holiday week, the New Year's Eve, so everything's in pretty good shape. It just cleared a stall a couple of minutes ago. 55 at Germania, so that's basically River to Peril. It's on the southbound side, so it wouldn't have impacted northbound drivers at all. And northbound 55 still looks great at Festus at Butler Hill and in the construction zone north of Bayless, headed up across River to Peril. 270 still wide open from 55 up through Gravois and up around the 64 Ladue area. 270 in the work zone still looks good. 70 out west from Wright City, Warrenton area still fine. Eastbound 70 and 64 coming in from that Wentzville area, still no issues or delays. Southbound 79 still just seeing a slowdown approaching TR Hughes. Signal problems were the culprit last Friday, and they may still be the issue because MoDOT's still indicating there are issues there with that exact problem. Downtown, we're still good to go westbound across the Poplar and Musel Veterans Bridges. No delays for Illinois drivers right now. Next update at 7:10 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
It is 6:59, and today is Tuesday, December 30th. I'm Debbie Monterey. The Major K Squad releasing some preliminary details on a double murder in Warren County.
I'm Scott Jagow.
I'm Sean Malone. All Missouri's Republican leaders are calling for eliminating the income tax. One of them is saying the budget is in jeopardy. I'm Sean Malone. I'll tell you who it is coming up.
The Blues fall to the Buffalo Sabres. We'll have Matt Pauley at the sports desk coming up.
And coming up in CBS News, the U.S. hits a target inside Venezuela, and some northern tier states are getting buried in snow.
Celebrating 100 years and wishing you the best of a holiday season. KMOX AM St. Louis, KMOX FM Hazelwood, the voice of St. Louis.
This is the CBS World News Roundup Late Edition, sponsored by CVS Health.
I'm Linda Kenyon. A lot of questions, but not a lot of answers after President Trump yesterday mentioned a new U.S. military strike.
While answering questions from the press, President Trump made headlines Monday when asked about a recent strike inside Venezuela, confirming an alleged drug-related site was targeted.
They load the boats up with drugs, so we hit all the boats, and now we hit the area.
But the president didn't say exactly where or when the strike happened, and neither has the Pentagon. He also declined to confirm reports the CIA carried out the strike.
CBS's Ed O'Keefe says the president commented at Mar-a-Lago, where he was hosting Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, discussing the next phase in the Gaza peace plan. National Guard troops are arriving in New Orleans today to help secure the city's New Year's Eve celebrations. It comes a year after a deadly truck attack on Bourbon Street.
Hundreds of Guard members will help with road closures around the French Quarter and other locations. Troops were also in the Big Easy earlier this year for Mardi Gras and the Super Bowl. Chris Wolf works security for the Bourbon Street nightclub, The Beach on Bourbon.
I don't think it hurts to have some National Guard guys out here. I mean, somebody did it once. Doesn't mean that they won't do it again, or at least try.
New Orleans police say the Guard troops will not be involved in the ongoing immigration enforcement in the city. Michael Wallace, CBS News.
The attack last year killed 14 people. An Arctic front is bringing heavy snow and powerful winds from Minnesota to New York. CBS's Ian Lee is in Syracuse, New York.
In Detroit, the dangerous snow and ice caused pile-up crashes on I-75 Monday. Nearly 60 cars and multiple semi-trucks were involved. Part of the highway was shut down for hours. Police say miraculously no one was injured.
It's been over a decade since I've driven through stuff like this.
A power outage has caused severe delays for thousands of travelers on Eurostar, that high-speed train service connecting Britain and continental Europe. This woman is anxiously awaiting the return of regular service.
We're heading to Paris today from London. Really hoping to get our 4 days before we go back to Australia. We'd really like to get there at least by tomorrow because we have New Year's booking tomorrow night.
On its website, Eurostar is urging passengers to postpone their journey. California is requiring the makers of tortillas to add folic acid to their products in the new year. The goal, to decrease birth defects in children born to Hispanic women. Dora Sands owns 3 restaurants in Sacramento.
You know what? I really was in shock because we grow with these kind of tortillas since like generations, and we never have any problems. We had a really healthy kids.
This is CBS News.
Through trusted relationships and national reach, CVS Health is uniquely positioned to simplify care. Learn more at cvshealth.com/Investor Day.
CVS Health supports people in the moment that matter, from picking up a prescription to connecting care. With nearly 5 million daily interactions and serving 185 million consumers and 1.5 million healthcare professionals, CVS Health holds a trusted place in healthcare. By simplifying care and improving health, we're helping people get the care they need. Learn more at cvshealth.com/Investor Day.
I know that hiring can be challenging. You need someone to match your role perfectly. Well, now you can meet them fast on ZipRecruiter.
Build your team, build it sooner. Meet your match on ZipRecruiter.
Just head to ZipRecruiter.com/free right now to try it for free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Need your match on ZipRecruiter. Try it free.
It is 7:04. We've got partly clear skies. It's 19 degrees in downtown St. Louis. I'm Debbie Monterey.
And I'm Scott Jagow. Major case squad detectives deployed overnight to Warren County.
This is Brad Choate in the KMOX newsroom. We're told 22 investigators are working a double homicide case at the request of Warren County Sheriff's deputies. They say 2 people were found shot dead near the intersection of South Strax Church Road and Highway M around 8:30 Monday night. Deputies put out a call for law enforcement to locate a white pickup truck. Investigators found that truck outside a Forestel truck stop around 3 in the morning. As squad cars pulled up, the man inside reportedly shot and killed himself.
The holiday travel period continues. FlightAware is reporting now a total of 16 flight delays, 0 flight cancellations at St. Louis Lambert International. This morning. 11 of those delays involve Southwest flights. If you do have a plane to catch, just check your flight status before heading to the airport.
The number of people killed or injured on highways during the 2025 Christmas holiday reporting period is up from last year in Missouri. The State Highway Patrol says between Christmas Eve and Sunday night, 10 people died in crashes, 94 were injured. Troopers say last year they recorded 4 traffic deaths and 44 injuries. But they say the reporting period this year was 3 days longer due to Christmas falling on a Thursday instead of a Wednesday.
While Governor Mike Kehoe and state Republicans want to eliminate the state income tax, Missouri's state auditor is sounding budgetary alarm bells.
Reaction coming in from lawmakers. House Budget Chairman Dirk Deaton says the audit proves that Missouri cannot try to operate like the federal government. He says relying on deficit spending is not an option. He plans to work with Governor Kehoe to make thoughtful adjustments immediately. He warns that if they wait until the money runs out, the state will face unpredictable cuts to essential services.
Leaders with a statewide economic development group say 2025 has been a good year.
The Business Desk is sponsored by Krentz Financial Group, KFGadvisors.com. The American Red Cross is asking Missourians to roll up their sleeves after early December storms canceled several blood drives across the state. Jill Eves with the Red Cross says even if you can't donate blood, there are other ways to help.
You can give the gift of time. So we're always looking for blood ambassadors. We're looking for volunteers, transportation specialists, and you don't have to know anything. We have some of the best teachers and volunteers, and we'll get you right up to speed.
And get this, anyone who donates blood or platelets between January 1st and the 25th will be entered for a chance to win a trip to the Super Bowl in California.
Well, I hope they have good weather for it because we're going to take a look at our weather. The weather's been pretty interesting all across the country and very cold here. Traffic and weather on the way. It's 7:08.
I dared Archwell Health to keep track of my vitals and my grandkids' names.
I dared Archwell Health to simplify my prescriptions, so Max and I have more time to play. Good boy.
And I dared Archwell Health to be closer than my neighborhood coffee shop.
Our members dared us to do more as a primary care provider for adults age 60 and up. So we made it our mission. Visit archwellhealth.com and become a member today. Archwell Health. we dare to care.
Reel in the big one at the best fishing expo in the Midwest, the Let's Go Fishing Show on January 2nd through 4th at Gateway Convention Center in Collinsville. Visit vendors with the latest fishing boats, rods, reels, tackle, accessories, resorts, and guided services. Shop unique one-of-a-kind items and top-of-the-line marine electronics at discount prices. Attend free seminars. Meet pro anglers, Bassmaster Elite Series Pro, Brandon Palaniuk, Carl Jacobson, and more. Free fishing pond. Win prizes from Canoe Canada and Tri-State Trolling Motors. Visit letsgoshows.com for coupons and more info.
At Gray Bar, we know your time is money. That's why our services go beyond parts and products. With kitting, pre-assembly, wire carts, and Gray Bar smart reels that keep you moving. We stage materials and manage logistics so you can spend less time sorting and more time installing. And with locations nationwide, we deliver when and where you need it, working to make your job easier every step of the way. Yep, Gray Bar does that.
When it comes to planning your retirement, there's a lot to think about. Portfolio management, tax planning, and retirement income just to get started. Steve All and his team at the All Financial Group focus on those things and more. Their goal is to help you achieve your goals. Call 636-230-8824 or online, yourmoneymattersstl.com.
Investment advisory products and services made available through Impact Partnership Wealth, LLC, IBW, a registered investment advisor. Insurance and annuities offered through Steve All, NPN number 153-07419.
This hour of Total Information AM is sponsored by Gamma Tree Experts.
It is 7:10. Let's get a look at the roadways with Roger Brand. He's in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
We're still not seeing any issues out there on the highways, Debbie. We're in great shape. I mean, we have the periodic stalls popping up. I mentioned last time southbound 55 at Germania, we had one. We have one westbound, a couple of them on 70. Westbound 70 at 370 and eastbound 70 near Lake St. Louis Boulevard. Looks like both of those are on the shoulder, not causing any delays. And with lighter volume, folks are just cruising on by, as they should, on your way into wherever you need to get to, work or the airport or wherever you're going to be doing this morning. You shouldn't have any issues interstate-wise. We're good to go on both sides of the river. No backups or delays anywhere, even in the work zones. Things are still on the move. Still see just a little bit of a slowdown. Southbound 79 at TR Hughes. Once you get past that point, like I said, looks great. Out west coming in from the Wentzville area down south, 55 Festus and Bayless in the work zones. Just nothing going on these highways right now. A light holiday week ahead, I'm sure. Next update at 7:20 from the Overhead Door Company in St. Louis Traffic Center.
KMOX AccuWeather, a frigid start to our Tuesday. Sunshine mixing with clouds at times and remaining cold this afternoon, high 35. Tonight, clear to partly cloudy and brisk with a low of 27. For tomorrow, partial sunshine and not quite so cold in the afternoon, the high 42. Thursday, New Year's Day, more clouds and sun and cold, high 36. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Thank you, Joe. Right now it is 17 in St. Peter's, the same in Florissant, right around 18, clear skies downtown at the Arch.
It is 7:12, and the Board of Aldermen met briefly Monday morning to pass a resolution to call for a special election to be held March 3rd to elect a new permanent St. Louis City sheriff. Per state law, the election must be held within 10 days of a vacancy. According to the resolution, candidate filing can begin as soon as today and ends January 16th. That resolution passed unanimously.
A St. Louis County man is accused of breaking out of a police squad car while en route to the county jail. This happened yesterday morning. Police say 35-year-old Dante Wallace faces a felony escape charge. He opened a passenger door of the car and ran out before being captured in the South Brentwood and Venetian Drive area. Police say Wallace was under arrest, first of all, for trespassing and possession of drug paraphernalia.
People dealing with asthma may see some savings by the end of this week. Nancy Hardy reports that is when a new Illinois state law capping the cost of prescription inhalers kicks in.
Illinois legalized recreational use of marijuana back in 2019. Missouri did so in 2022. Now, in the year ahead, the federal government is expected to downgrade its classification of cannabis. Craig Figner from L.A. tells us what that mean for individual dispensaries.
The federal government considers marijuana in the same class of drugs as heroin and LSD, a classification that could soon change as President Trump earlier this month signed an executive order to expedite reclassification of marijuana to a Schedule I drug, where it will be in the company of Tylenol with codeine. Los Angeles dispensary operator Daniel Sosa tells KNX News he's very hopeful that this reclassification will actually happen.
Well, I mean, he's instructed them to reschedule, so it hasn't actually happened yet. And it sort of remains to be seen what the exact implications will be. Hopefully, it means, easier access to banking for cannabis businesses, expansion of research, expanded access to research. And hopefully it means a reduction in federal criminal penalties.
The biggest upside for dispensary operators will be access to banking. Right now, the feds consider marijuana illegal. When that changes, the cannabis dispensaries will likely have access to banking. Right now, their business is all cash and risky. They have to transport massive amounts of cash to pay all of their bills. I'm Craig Figner.
KMOX, celebrating 100 years. Presented by Purina. Your pet, our passion. Now, a KMOX pioneer.
Before he became one of the most celebrated broadcasters in America, Bob Costas launched his remarkable career right here at KMOX.
I was 22 years old when I came to KMOX.
Costas called play-by-play for the Spirits of St. Louis, hosted Open Line, and covered Mizzou basketball, all while honoring the sharp wit and subtle comic timing he displayed as a semi-regular on The Carney Show.
Jack Carney, he introduced me to the St. Louis audience beyond the basketball games that I was calling.
His 7 years at KMOX set the stage for a legendary national career. From hosting 12 Olympic Games to winning 29 Emmy Awards, Bob Costas has become one of the defining voices of American broadcasting, always proudly connected to the city where it all began. Bob Costas, a KMOX pioneer.
What if every time you spent money, you saved money too? With Achieve It Checking from Together Credit Union, you can do just that. Every debit card purchase is rounded up to the nearest dollar, and the spare change goes right into your savings. And here's the best part. Together Credit Union boosts your progress by matching qualifying savings, up to $8 a month. It's a free checking account that helps you achieve more automatically. Learn more, or better yet, enroll today at togethercu.org. Together Credit Union, federally insured by NCUA.
Neil Forever performs Neil Diamond live in concert at the Factory in Chesterfield on Friday, January 9th.
It's fantastic.
Friday, January 9th, Neil Forever performing all the hits of Neil Diamond at the Factory.
He is a great performer.
He's amazing.
Sounds just like Neil.
Rock and roll, we get on board. Tickets at Ticketmaster.com.
Debbie Monterey, Megan Lynch, Tom Ackerman. Total Information AM on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Good Tuesday morning at 7:20. Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, we're still not having any issues around the area. You know, the stalls keep popping up. Scott, the newest one is eastbound 70 past Zumbel on the right shoulder, and another one north 270 just north of 44 again on the shoulder. But they move them to the shoulder quickly, and then they clear them, get them out of there. So the end result is you're not hindered by anything on your drive. So we still look great on the south side. 55 coming up from Festus north of Bayless. The construction zone's not bothering anybody out west. Southbound 61 down onto eastbound 64 or eastbound 70 across the Missouri River bridges. You're good to go. Just see a brief delay. Southbound 79 at TR Hughes. That's where we've had some signal problems recently. Eastbound 64 and westbound 64 around the Interbelt, still good to go. And downtown for Illinois drivers, westbound 55, 70, and 64, still look great across the Poplar and Mutual Veterans bridges. Next update at 7:30 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
The forecast is, well, the good news is it'll warm up from what it is now because it's very cold this morning, but sunshine mixed with some clouds and a high today of 35 degrees, 27 overnight, then partly sunny for New Year's Eve day with a high of 42. Then New Year's Day, Thursday, a high of 36. We've been steady this morning with 19 degrees.
The news continues at 7:22. The National Churchill Museum in central Missouri's Fulton may soon become an official national landmark. The U.S. Senate unanimously passed a bill to name the museum and grounds a landmark, which would make it part of the national park system. Missouri Senator Josh Hawley sponsored it.
It was there in March of 1946 that Winston Churchill delivered his famous speech. Churchill called the speech the Sinews of Peace speech. But as everyone listening to these words knows, it has become immortalized forever as the Iron Curtain speech.
The bill would also designate Fort Ontario in New York as a national park. That's one of my home places. The 19th century site was used to house nearly 1,000 Jewish refugees from Europe toward the end of World War II.
Well, I've never been to Choctaw, Oklahoma, but this kid is, he's a national treasure, we think, in this On the Road feature. CBS's Steve Hartman updates us on a kid who sounds like a bird.
Oh my gosh, I can't get over this story.
I know.
It's the second time it's run this morning, and I'm still not getting over it. I wonder what Samuel is going to do with his life. I can't wait to find out.
I know. If you can get a playground full of kids to be doing peacock sounds instead of making fun of you, you have succeeded.
You're a winner.
You're a winner. I love it. It is 7:26, and the time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating, Electrical, Air Conditioning, and Plumbing.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
CVS Health supports people in the moments that matter, from picking up a prescription to connecting care. With nearly 5 million daily interactions and serving 185 million consumers and 1.5 million healthcare professionals, CVS Health holds a trusted place in healthcare. By simplifying care and improving health, we're helping people get the care they need. Learn more at cvshealth.com/Investor Day.
A new exclusive offer with an eligible Bank of America Visa credit card is your opportunity to go from cardholder to ticket holder for the FIFA World Cup 2026. For a limited time, when you're approved for a new customized cash rewards or unlimited cash rewards Visa credit card, you're eligible for a chance to purchase FIFA World Cup 2026 tickets. Learn more today at bfa.com/cardfwc26. What would you like the power to do? Bank of America, proud to be the official bank of FIFA World Cup 2026. Bank of America N.A. in partnership with Visa. Terms apply. All rights reserved.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group. Did you buy a timeshare because they told you it was a great investment? That's a lie. Most timeshares can be bought online for $1. To find out what your timeshare is worth and to cancel it, call us today and we'll send you our timeshare exit kit free with all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley for your free exit info guide. 800-941-2255. That's 800-941-2255.
He's Donald Trump's #1 enemy in Congress, Chicago politician Dick Durbin. Now, Durbin has a new scheme. He's doing the dirty work to benefit corporate megastores. Durbin's bill could cut corners on your credit card security, putting your personal data at risk. Big chain retailers and warehouse stores want to inflate their profits, and liberal Dick Durbin would help them do it. Tell senators, say no to the megastores and Dick Durbin. Paid for by the Electronic Payments Coalition.
Hey, this is Charlie Brennan, along with Dr. Colleen Bosler and Dr. Adam Voss at the Audiology Center. When was the last time you really enjoyed a conversation without straining to hear?
Charlie, so many people think hearing aids just make things louder.
But that's old technology. Today's hearing aids do so much more.
Exactly. With the dual chip technology, our hearing aids actually separate the speech from the background noise.
Which means, at a noisy restaurant, you'll hear your friends and family, not the clinking dishes.
And the best part? Your brain doesn't have to work overtime trying to fill in the blanks.
So that keeps your mind sharp, your conversations easy, and your relationships stronger.
Because hearing well isn't just about sound, it's about staying connected.
Thanks, Doctor. Call the Audiology Center today to schedule your annual hearing evaluation. Don't miss another moment. Call 636-441-7470 or visit theaudiologycenterstl.com.
At 7:30, we have a clear sky and 18 degrees downtown at the Gateway Arch. Good morning. I'm Scott Jagow.
I'm Debbie Monterey. Here's Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, the roadways are still looking good out there for you so far this morning. Of course, we're getting closer to the peak rush hour time, but that doesn't seem to be making a difference this week, just like last week, holiday week. So it's lighter traffic, a lot of families out of town, kids out of school, whatever you have. That just means less folks on the highways. They just cleared the stall we had northbound 270 past 44. It was on the shoulder, but they got a flatbed up and got it out of there. North 270 looks great from 55 up through 44 looks great, both directions at Ladue. Eastbound 70 and 64 and southbound 61 coming out of the Wentzville area, good to go. Still seeing just a short delay. Southbound 79 at TR Hughes, northbound 55 at Festus and north of Bayless look great in the work zones. Downtown, we're still clear. Westbound across the Poplar and Mutual Veterans Bridges, no issues or delays for interstates on the Illinois side either. Next update at 7:40 from the Overhead Door Company at St. Louis Traffic Center.
It's cold this morning. It'll warm up a little bit to 35 this afternoon. We'll have some sunny skies. Overnight around 27, and then up a little bit to 42 for New Year's Eve. New Year's Day is going to be 36, Friday 42. It's 17 in St. Peter's, 18 in Florissant. We have 18 downtown at the Arch.
The Major K Squad says a man inside a pickup truck they were tracking after a double homicide in Warren County pulled out a gun and shot himself dead in a Forrestal truck stop parking lot. This happened about 3 o'clock this morning. No names have yet been released.
2 people were found dead last night near the intersection of South Strax Road, Church Road, and Highway M. 22 investigators were assigned to this case.
Multiple lawsuits are challenging the legality and implementation of Missouri's new congressional maps, with time being of the essence.
Missouri's state auditor, Scott Fitzpatrick, is sounding the alarm as lawmakers prepare to return to the Capitol. He's releasing a report showing Missouri has burned through nearly $1 billion in reserves over the last 2 years. And he's warning that while the state still has cash on hand, the trend is dangerous.
We're approaching a point where significant corrective action needs to be taken to rebalance expenses and revenue so that the state doesn't run out of money in the next couple of years and have a serious financial crisis on its hands.
He says to KMOX that if spending habits don't change, the state's savings account will be completely drained by 2028.
And it's the news is sponsored by Michael's Flooring Outlet, the flooring experts, michaelsflooringoutlet.com. Stand by for your money report. That is next on KMOX. It's 7:33.
For 100 years, you've welcomed KMOX into your cars, your kitchens, and your daily routines.
You've trusted us through breaking news, championship celebrations, and the stories that shaped our city.
You've listened during moments of joy and leaned on us when times were uncertain.
From overnight shifts to early mornings, from one generation to the next, you've made KMOX part of your life.
From everyone at KMOX, thank you, St. Louis, for 100 unforgettable years.
KMOX, the voice of St. Louis.
Taxes was feeling so stuck. Sitting in traffic, squeezing into a parking spot, all to squeeze in getting tax help during your lunch break. Now Taxes is a TurboTax expert who does your taxes for you, while you go about your day getting real-time notifications about their progress and the most money back guaranteed. Now this is Taxes. Intuit TurboTax. See guarantee details at turbotax.com/guarantees. Only available with TurboTax experts. Real-time updates only in iOS mobile app.
Hey, can you blow up some balloons for Jack's party?
I can't. I'm so congested.
You need Sinex Saline from Vicks.
Sinex Saline nasal spray?
Yeah, just Sinex. Breathe.
Sinex Saline instantly clears everyday congestion associated with colds and year-round allergies with a gentle, ultra-fine mist that's no mess and easy to control.
Daddy, we need more balloons.
On it.
Enjoy life's important moments without congestion. Try Sinex Saline from Vicks. Just Sinex. Breathe. Use as directed.
It is 7:35, and your business report is sponsored by Busey Bank.
This is a Bloomberg Money Minute. Silver this morning recovering after plunging yesterday in its biggest one-day drop in more than 5 years. Even so, silver and gold are still on track for their best annual performance since 1979. As for stocks, Dow, S&P, and NASDAQ futures all fluctuating this hour as investors watch global political developments for direction. Are you a big audiobook fan? Wall Street Journal says audiobooks are a bright spot for publishers this challenging year, with digital audiobook sales jumping by nearly 24%. And the audiobook editions of S.A. Cosby's King of Ashes and Karen Slaughter's We Are All Guilty Here and Others have outsold their hardcover editions. And Wendy's among those bringing home the bacon this National Bacon Day, offering 1-cent Junior Bacon cheeseburgers as a way to boost engagement with the Wendy's app. You have to buy another item through the app, though, to get your 1-cent bacon cheeseburger. Denise Pellegrini, Bloomberg Radio.
This is the take care of my family goal. This is the enjoy the life I've built goal. This is the set up a foundation goal. This is Busey, where your goals become lasting legacies. Through bespoke plans that maximize your wealth, through partnerships that give you peace of mind. Because building wealth, tending to it, and passing it down secures a brighter future. Busey Bank, building business, growing wealth since 1868. Member FDIC.
'Tis the season, and Quick Trip is turning your phone into the gift that keeps on giving, and giving, and giving. With QT's Holidays. From now till the end of the season, when you open the QT app, you'll automatically get one free gift per day. We're talking classic QT treats like coffee, pizza, or donuts, ready to make your taste buds sing carols of joy. Plus exclusive deals from your favorite brands. With a new surprise waiting for you every day, your phone will be stuffed with more treats than your stocking. QT's Holidays. Open the QT app for your daily gift.
Get this, 42% of baby boomers don't even know how much money they have in their nest egg. If you're not sure where you stand in terms of getting ready for retirement, you should be listening to the All Financial Hour with Steve All.
Let's sit down and talk about your questions, because I think that's the most important thing that it is out there. It's what questions do you have?
Saturday mornings at 10 or Sunday evenings at 6, right here on KMOX.
Save big money in your next painting project with help from Menards. Get a paint that combines gorgeous color and durability. Dutch Boys Platinum Plus is a paint and primer with a protective finish that guards against scuffs, spills, and stains. Don't wait to finish your projects. Get a gallon on sale now through December 31st and refresh your home today. Plus, check out our weekly flyer on Menards.com for all the great deals happening now.
Save big money at Menards.
Experience a celebration of movement and music as the St. Louis Symphony Orchestra and St. Louis Dance Theater join together for Stravinsky and Debussy Music and Motion. This adventurous collaboration reimagines Stravinsky's Pulcinella Suite in an entirely new way that celebrates powerful partnerships between dance and music. January 10th and 11th at Powell Hall at the Jack C. Taylor Music Center. Tickets at slso.org.
If you owe the IRS, you have a legal issue, and you need the Lance Drury Law Firm. We'll protect your rights. Log on at lancedrurylaw.com.
SNL Coin. We buy gold and silver coins, silver and gold jewelry. Also buying gold-filled and silver plates. Before you sell, call SNL. 314-544-3600. 314-544-3600. SNL Coin.
For all station contest rules, go to KMOX.com/rules.
Wednesday afternoon, it's men's Billikens basketball as they face St. Joseph's. Pre-game 2:45, tip at 3 on your home for Billikens basketball. 104.1 FM KMOX.
It is 7:39. One diehard fan finally gets to see his favorite college football team play a bowl game.
Bill Murphy has been an Indiana University football season ticket holder for 66 years. 55 of them have been losing seasons. A true diehard fan, Murphy has had to wait decades for his football team to make a bowl game. At 77 years old, Murphy had a backup plan.
I told my wife and I told my son and my daughter, I said, look, if we ever go to the Rose Bowl and I've already passed away, I want you to take my ashes, buy a seat, buy a program, put the program on the seat, put my ashes on the seat, and I'll be there at the Rose Bowl.
This time around, Indiana has made the Rose Bowl.
So we have our flight, we have our hotel, we have our tickets.
And he's taking along the family.
I'm still pinching myself.
I'm Lisa Dwyer.
That's definitely going to be Tom Ackerman in a few years.
We thought maybe that story was about him. It is time for us to check the roadways. It looks like we've got a sunny morning with blue skies, but it's not heating things up anytime soon. So if you're heading out, you've got seat warmers. You'll probably need them. Roger Brand is in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Yeah, at least things aren't heating up on the highways, Debbie. I mean, this is peak rush hour time right now that we're dealing with. This traffic reports the service of Pine Valley Assisted Living, and there just isn't anything going on to cause you any concerns. There's a stall westbound 70 near Kings Highway as you come out of the city. Right lanes partially blocked there, I guess. Not enough volume to even slow you down coming around the bend there. Eastbound 70, eastbound 64 look great coming in from out Wentzville way. Northbound 55 at Festus and Bayless, and the work zones is clear. North 270, 55 up through Gravois, and both directions around the work zone between Ladue and 64 and 270 are still wide open. No delays downtown westbound across the bridges. This traffic reports the service of Pine Valley Assisted Living. Next update is 7:50 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Looking for a beautiful, all-inclusive place for your loved one? Happy holidays from Pine Valley Assisted Living. Secure a room between now and January 31st and take advantage of our move-in special. Enjoy affordable rates with absolutely no hidden fees. Experience the beautiful life at Pine Valley. Visit rspseniorliving.com today.
Let's check on our forecast for New Year's week. Joe Lundberg joins us now. It looks like it's just going to be pretty typically cold.
Yeah, I think that's a good way to phrase it, Scott. Average high today should be about 41 degrees, and we'll be below that by several degrees today, not like yesterday's 24, but also a far cry from the 78 we got to on Sunday. Sunshine will mix with clouds at times, 35 or high. Then tonight, clear to partly cloudy, about 27. That's pretty typical for this time of the year. Partial sunshine tomorrow will wander up to 42. New Year's Day, clouds, some sun, kind of cold, about 36. Low 40s as clouds break for some sun on Friday. And Saturday, partly sunny, the high 39. I do see a moderating trend, though, as we go into the Big Ann again next week. 16 at St. Peter's and in Florissant. It's sunny, and 19 downtown at the Arch. Looks nice, but it's cold. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
It is 7:42, and an Arctic front bringing heavy snow and powerful winds from Minnesota to New York, with some wind gusts reaching more than 70 miles per hour. CBS News meteorologist Rob Marciano. The dangerous winter weather has caused numerous power outages and dozens of accidents.
For the first time, the U.S. has struck a target inside Venezuelan territory. The president said the strike last week was on a, quote, implementation area. It comes as the U.S. has been targeting alleged drug boats in the Caribbean and the Eastern Pacific. CBS News senior White House correspondent Ed O'Keefe has more from West Palm Beach.
There was a major explosion in the dock area where they load the boats up with drugs.
While answering questions from the press, President Trump made headlines Monday when asked about a recent strike inside Venezuela, confirming an alleged drug-related site was targeted.
They load the boats up with drugs, so we hit all the boats, and now we hit the area.
The U.S. also says it struck another boat in the Eastern Pacific yesterday, killing 2 people.
Chicago preparing to welcome 2026 with celebrations across the city, including downtown. Frank Velez, executive director of Chicago's Office of Emergency Management and Communications, says attendees should have fun but also be prepared in case there's trouble. Chicago police say they will have a heavy presence in every neighborhood on New Year's Eve, including downtown.
Hundreds of National Guard troops arriving in New Orleans today to help secure that city's New Year's Eve celebrations. A year after a deadly truck attack on Bourbon Street, 14 people were killed. The troops will help with road closures around the French Quarter. Chris Wolf works security for the Bourbon Street nightclub, The Beach on Bourbon. He hopes the extra security prevents another attack.
Hopefully they try to do a better job. Not that they did a horrible job or anything. People get around stuff, you know. I mean, the guy had a plan and he did what he did, but you're going to stop it, you got to be preemptive, you know.
Build Ford tough or not. According to the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Ford came in first place with the most number of recalls in 2025. They had 152.
They also set a record for the amount of vehicles impacted. They broke GM's record set in 2014 with almost 13 million cars. The manufacturer with the second most recalls, Chrysler with 53. GM had 27.
It is 7:45.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. Why should you hire America's largest injury law firm for your case? There's lots of reasons. Just like there's a reason millions of people called us last year in their time of need. When it comes to fighting for justice and compensation, millions of people across the country trust us to go to battle for them. We became the largest injury law firm in the world for a reason. There's only one Morgan & Morgan, forthepeople.com. Injured? Dial #law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Dan owed an unbelievable amount of money to the IRS.
I got behind on my taxes. It's a horrible feeling.
He was in denial.
And when I got those letters from the IRS, you wanted to act like they didn't exist.
Finally, Dan turned to Optima Tax Relief, the leading tax resolution firm. A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau, they've resolved over $1 billion for their clients.
Optima got me a settlement with the IRS. These people are really people-friendly. It was every bit of a new lease on life for me.
The fast action and the great results made Dan's head spin.
I felt like I was in a dream, but it's real, and I have paperwork to prove it. They got the job done, and life is good.
For tax help you can trust, call Optima now for a free consultation.
If you're worried about what's going to happen with the IRS, stop worrying. Make the call now.
Call 800-348-0269. 800-348-0269. 800-348-0269.
Optima Tax Relief.
Testimonial from an actual client. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Winterfest is back for the 10th year in Keener Plaza, now through January 11th. Enjoy Winterfest traditions, including ice skating, s'mores, and igloos underneath 100,000 twinkling lights in the shadow of the Gateway Arch. Grab a bite or drink from downtown favorites and enjoy a family-friendly New Year's Eve fireworks spectacular. Winterfest, hosted by Gateway Arch Park Foundation, presented by Bank of America and Worldwide Technology. For more info, KMOX.com/events.
Your morning news and information. Total Information AM.
It is 7:50. An update on Tuesday morning's commute from Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, we got another stall out there, but I don't think it's going to bother anybody. They are still working the one in downtown on westbound 70 just before Kings Highway. They have the right lane blocked there. There's also one now reported westbound 64 near 364, but that one appears to be on the shoulder. So, again, no concerns there. And that one on 70 just causing a brief slowdown. It's not even backed up at West Florissant. Just a little slow coming through there westbound to Highway 70. Eastbound 70 right around Air Flight. That looks a little busy. Southbound 79 still seeing slow traffic coming down into TR Hughes. Northbound 55 still looks good at Festus and north of Bayless. North 270 still clear. 55 all the way up through Manchester. Seeing a bit of a jam on Route 3 right now at Granite City Steel, so there may be a train shuttling across. Traffic backed up both ways at that location. Next update at 7:58 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Today will warm up to about 35 degrees. We'll have sunshine mixing with clouds. Tomorrow, partly sunny, high of 42. For New Year's Day, more clouds and sun with a high of 36. It's sunny right now and 19 degrees.
The news continues at 7:52. The Highway Patrol investigating a Saturday night dog mauling death in Crawford County. Troopers say they found 22-year-old Angel Rawlings dead inside her Bourbon home. 2 dogs were removed from the house and placed in the care of Cuba Animal Shelter. An autopsy will be conducted.
Illinois' top watchdog found hundreds of state employees took millions in PPP loans. We get more from Mallory Vorbroker.
Officials say the father of NASCAR driver Denny Hamlin died, and his mother was critically injured after a weekend fire at their North Carolina home. Gaston County officials say firefighters arrived Sunday night at a 2-story home near Stanley. It was mostly engulfed in fire with flames showing through the attic. Officials say 75-year-old Dennis Hamlin and 69-year-old Mary Lou were found outside the home suffering from catastrophic injuries.
The new year expected to bring some hard-fought changes to the business of selling cannabis. We get that story from Craig Figgener at our sister station in Los Angeles.
Ever since a U.S. military cemetery in the Netherlands removed 2 displays recognizing black troops who helped liberate Europe from the Nazis, visitors have filled the guest book with objections.
In the spring, the American Battle Monuments Commission removed the panels from the visitor center at the American Cemetery in Margraten, the final resting place for over 8,000 U.S. soldiers. The move came after President Donald Trump issued a series of executive orders ending many diversity programs. This angered Dutch officials, the families of U.S. soldiers, and the local residents who honor the American sacrifice by caring for the graves. Linda Herveux, whose book Forgotten chronicles black soldiers who fought on D-Day and segregation back home, says that they often saw their roles and contributions diminished.
Black American soldiers have participated in every war in American history since the Revolution. And since the Revolution, they saw their roles, their responsibilities diminished. And so by World War II, you had a concerted effort to keep them out of positions that mattered.
On America's Square, in front of Margraten City Hall, there's a small park named for Jefferson Wiggins, a black soldier. In his memoir, published posthumously in 2014, Wiggins describes burying the bodies of his white comrades, who he was barred from fraternizing with while they were alive. I'm Charles de Ledesma.
It is 7:56.
It is college soccer's oldest and most prestigious award. It is soccer's equivalent of the Heisman Trophy. It's the Herman Trophy, named for Robert R. Herman, former chairman of the executive committee of the North American Soccer League and one of its founders. The Herman Trophy has been awarded every year since 1967, with some of the most prestigious names in soccer receiving the award. This year, January 9th, at the Missouri Athletic Club, the MAC Herman Trophy will be handed out to the top men's and women's players in America. Decided by both Division I college coaches as well as passionate fans, the Missouri Athletic Club Herman Trophy is the most definitive and most prestigious annual award in the realm of collegiate soccer. Join us on January 9th at the Missouri Athletic Club in downtown St. Louis to etch another year in history. Visit us online at machermantrophy.com and mac-stl.org.
What's up, everybody? I'm Nick Costos, and watching sports isn't a hobby, it's a lifestyle. And my show is not a job, it's a passion. From the NFL playoffs to the NBA and everything in between, celebrate sports with me every day on You Better You Bet from 9 a.m. to noon Eastern. Download the Odyssey app now and listen to Westwood One Sports from anywhere. It's You Better You Bet with me, Nick Costos, live and interactive Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to noon Eastern, presented by BetMGM.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. No, we're not one of the big guys. Truth is, we don't want to be. If you're over 50, Big Wireless probably has you paying for more data than you might need. You could be throwing away thousands over a lifetime.
Our entry-level data plans start at just $20 a month. And for a limited time, switch and get your second month free. Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit consumercellular.com or a store near you and get your second month free today. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional details.
Bernie Miklas here for Saliga Heating and Cooling. Our family's called the Saliga family for 18 years, and we are grateful for Saliga's honesty, knowledge, and professionalism. They're the best. For more info, visit SaligaHeatingandCooling.com.
Retiring soon? Get the information you need by joining Kyle Jones and Matt Allgeier of Fira Capital Management for Your Retirement Highway, Sunday mornings at 9:30. Investment advisory services made available through Pine Ridge Advisors, LLC, a registered investment advisor. Securities made available through AE Financial Services, LLC, member FINRA and SIPC.
Just before 8 o'clock, Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, Scott, we still have a little bit of a slowdown coming around the bend on westbound 70 through West Florissant into Shreve. That's where we have a stall. The right lane's blocked for it there. Southbound 79, still a little bit of a delay around TR Hughes. And I'm still seeing a backup on 203 at Granite City Steel and Metro East. Looks like a train crossing there. Next update at 8:10 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
It is 7:59. Today is Tuesday, December 30th. I'm Debbie Monterey, and coming up in the next hour of Total Information AM, KMOX legal analyst Brad Young is sitting in, and he'll be talking about, among other things, the City of St. Louis sheriff's vacancy.
I'm Scott Jagow. Also, the year in politics with Republican strategist John Hancock. Other topics include the state of New York requiring mental health warnings for social media and iconic characters with expiring copyrights in 2026.
At the Tone, it's 8 o'clock in Mid-America.
Celebrating 100 years and wishing you the best of the holiday season. KMOX AM St. Louis. KMOX FM Hazelwood. The voice of St. Louis.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by Progressive Insurance.
I'm Linda Kenyon. Many questions, not a lot of answers after the U.S. yesterday struck a dock site inside Venezuela believed to be used to load up drugs. President Trump declined to confirm reports that the CIA carried out the strike.
Well, I don't want to say that. I know exactly who it was, but I don't want to say who it was.
CBS's Ed O'Keefe says this was not an isolated U.S. military action.
News of the attack comes as the Pentagon announced a strike on another alleged drug vessel in the Eastern Pacific that killed 2 more.
The Justice Department is suing Virginia for giving undocumented immigrants in-state financial aid at public colleges. The story from CBS's Michael Wallace.
The Trump administration argues the financial aid violates federal law because it discriminates against U.S. citizens in other states who are not eligible for the reduced in-state tuition. Virginia's legal code allows students who have lived in the state for at least 2 years to qualify for the aid. The administration has filed similar lawsuits against California and Illinois in recent months. In June, a federal judge blocked Texas from giving unauthorized immigrants in-state tuition. Michael Wallace, CBS News.
An Arctic front is bringing heavy snow and powerful winds from Minnesota to New York, with some wind gusts reaching over 70 miles per hour. CBS News' meteorologist Rob Marciano has the latest.
This is a pretty substantial lake effect snow event, and it's going to kind of rinse and repeat itself as we go through the next 48 hours.
The dangerous winter weather has caused numerous power outages and dozens of accidents. It's now moving into the Northeast, bringing those powerful winds along with it. The search for a missing Malaysia airliner is resuming. CBS's Rami Inocencio reports.
British-American deep-sea robotics company Ocean Infinity hopes to finally solve this tragic mystery in the next 55 days. Deploying a fleet of the world's most advanced underwater drones that can dive nearly 20,000 feet deep. With side-scan sonar to build detailed 3D images, to peer beneath the sediment, and devices to detect metals from the aircraft. Crunching all this data fast into one big picture using AI that didn't exist then.
Flight MH370 vanished from the radar on March 8, 2014. It was carrying 239 people. Rates of gestational diabetes are skyrocketing in the United States.
A Northwestern University study found the condition, which can be harmful for both a mother and baby, shot up 36% over the last 10 years. Researchers say unhealthy diets and less exercise are to blame.
That's CBS's Michael George. This is CBS News.
Brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Not only does Progressive let you bundle your insurance, they also give you round-the-clock protection. Quote today at Progressive.com.
It is 8:03, and right now we have sunshine. It's 20 degrees now in downtown St. Louis. I'm Debbie Monterey. Major K-Squad detectives deployed overnight to Warren County. The holiday travel period continues, but not without delays. FlightAware reporting a new total of 19 flight delays, 0 flight cancellations at St. Louis Lambert International. 13 of those delays involve Southwest. If you have to head to the airport, you might want to check your flight status before leaving. How much needs to be slashed from the state budget to keep Missouri in the black? Auditor Scott Fitzpatrick has a specific number in mind, and it's not small. KMOX also asked the auditor about Governor Kehoe's goal to completely eliminate the state income tax. Fitzpatrick says that while he likes the idea of lower taxes, he won't support a full repeal until someone shows him a math problem that adds up. Fitzpatrick warns that cutting the income tax without a way to replace that revenue would force drastic cuts to schools and roads. A lawsuit filed by the ACLU seeks to block Missouri's newly redrawn congressional district maps from taking effect before a ballot referendum is voted on. The St. Charles County judge who made headlines for wearing an Elvis Presley costume in court is permanently stripped of his robe. The Missouri Supreme Court issuing a unanimous ruling Monday, removing Matthew Thornhill from the bench immediately. While the Elvis complaints started the investigation, the High Court said the real issue was Thornhill openly discussing partisan politics during hearings, including telling people where his yard signs were located. Just how widespread is fentanyl use in Missouri schools? The Department of Public Safety hopes to find out through a new school wastewater testing pilot. Communications Director Mike O'Connell says testing began earlier this month at about a dozen schools across Missouri. An economic development group working to grow new business in Missouri says 2025 has been a strong year. From the business desk sponsored by Krentz Financial Group, KFGadvisors.com, with the minimum wage in Missouri increasing to $15 an hour on January 1st, a coalition of business owners says the boost will improve costly employee turnover, boost productivity, and improve customer service. Voters approved the wage hike with Proposition A in 2024. Business for a Fair Minimum Wage says it's unfortunate that Governor Kehoe overrode the will of the people by repealing mandatory sick leave along with the annual minimum wage cost of living adjustments that were set to resume in 2027. Other groups like the Missouri Chamber of Commerce, Missouri Grocers Association, and Missouri Restaurant Association sued to overturn the voter-approved measures, saying it would lead to higher costs for customers. A check of traffic and weather and Brad Young, all on the way here on KMOX.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Do you feel embarrassed, trapped, maybe even ashamed just because you own a timeshare? Well, I'm here to tell you you're not alone. Chuck McDowell here, the timeshare cancellation guy. I get over 3,000 complaints a week from all kinds of folks that feel the same way you do. Honest people, teachers, veterans, grandparents, all losing sleep over a timeshare they can't get rid of. That's why 15 years ago, I founded Wesley Financial Group to help people take their lives back. Today, I run Wesley with my two sons, a real family business, treating every client and every employee like we would want our own family to be treated. That mindset has helped us cancel over 50,000 timeshares from people just like you. So if you're stuck in a timeshare, give us a call. Let our family help your family.
Call Wesley now for your free timeshare exit kit. 800-981-4455. That's 800-981-4455. 800-981-4455.
Hey guys, Kevin Wheeler here to tell you about 213 Complex, which is available at Supplement Superstores. Look, it's the time of year to make things happen with health goals. 213 Complex will do for you what it does for me. Gets the metabolism rocking and rolling 24 hours a day, helps you fight cravings, gives you all-day focused energy with no crash that comes at the end of the day either. It's been a big help for me. It will help you. So get out to Supplement Superstores. Tell them Kevin Wheeler sent you in. They'll knock 30% off your 213 complex. To get started down your path and find your location, just go to supplementsuperstores.com.
Reel in the big one at the best fishing expo in the Midwest, the Let's Go Fishing Show on January 2nd through 4th at Gateway Convention Center in Collinsville. Visit vendors with the latest fishing boats, rods, reels, tackle, accessories, resorts, and guided services. Shop unique, one-of-a-kind items and top-of-the-line marine electronics at discount prices. Attend free seminars. Meet pro anglers, Bassmaster Elite Series Pro, Brandon Palaniuk, Carl Jacobson, and more. Free fishing pond. Win prizes from Canoe Canada and Tri-State Trolling Motors. Visit letsgoshows.com for coupons and more info. This hour of Total Information AM is sponsored by Gamma Tree Experts. Now the news. At 9, The Talk. The Chris and Amy Show on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Brand over in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, Brad, things look great on the highways right now. In fact, that little delay we had coming around the bend at O'Fallon Park, westbound 70's gone. They had a stall right before Kings Highway near Shreve. It looks like they've cleared it. They did it. The right lane's blocked. MoDOT says they have the right lane blocked now with a tow truck on the scene for the stall westbound 70 at 370. But again, that camera's out, but I'm not seeing any delays through there, so that's a good indicator that it's not really an issue. And the rest of these highways continue to roll along, light traffic on the interstates. No issues on either side of the river, just that little slowdown still out there, southbound 79 at TR Hughes. Next update at 8:20 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
A frigid start to the day, sunshine mixing with clouds at times. Cold this afternoon, high 35. Tonight, clear to partly cloudy and brisk low 27. Clouds and some sunshine tomorrow, not quite as cold in the afternoon, high 42. Thursday, New Year's Day, will be cold with more clouds and sun, high 36. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Good morning. Brad Young sitting in this morning for the vacationing Megan Lynch, and joining us, apparently it's the Hancock and Young week so far, yesterday and today. John Hancock, good to talk to you again, my friend.
Always a pleasure, partner. Happy New Year.
Yeah, we kind of flipped. Yeah, yesterday I'm on the phone, and today you're on the phone.
How about that?
Hey, I wanted to talk to you, though, because one of the things you didn't have much time to get to yesterday is kind of a preview of Missouri politics for 2026. We've had a robust political year in 2025, but what's on the schedule, on the docket, as it were, for coming up in 2026? It's an election year, obviously.
Yeah, it's this is what I call the dole cycle. Every 12 years in Missouri, only the state auditor is running statewide. There's no U.S. Senate race. None of the other statewide offices are up, and it happens every 12 years. And so we have a state auditor's race. Scott Fitzpatrick, who is the incumbent Republican state auditor, has got a Democrat that's going to file against him, but I suspect he's going to handily be reelected. Really, the marquee races in the state are right here in our backyard. You've got the St. Louis County Executive's race. It got a little more interesting with Sam Page announcing he's getting out. Brian Williams has announced his candidacy. He's already raised over $500,000. He's a Democrat state senator from North St. Louis County. He looks like the favorite, but, you know, there's a lot of buzz about County Assessor Jake Zimmerman getting into that race on the Democratic side, and potentially Doug Beck, a state senator, Democrat from South County. There's some buzz around him maybe getting in. Shalonda Webb, who is a Democrat county council member from North St. Louis County, might get into that race as well. Dennis Hancock is the only announced Republican candidate. But, you know, the last time a Republican was elected St. Louis County executive was the year after Don Denkinger stole the World Series from the Cardinals. So it's been a while.
Yeah, it has been a while. And I want to talk about the Sam Page thing for just a moment, because obviously he's currently facing an indictment on various charges. But was it a shock to you, John Hancock, that Sam Page decided to bail out of the race?
No, I expected that he wouldn't file. He wasn't raising money. Now, I was surprised, though, Brad, that I would have thought that he would have negotiated something with the Attorney General's office to, remove the charges if he agreed to not run again. And so I was a little surprised that deal wasn't made. But the fact that he's not running does not come as a surprise.
Yeah, I was shocked at that too, because folks will remember when Kim Gardner left, that was part of her exit strategy, was to say, I'll resign from office in exchange for the dismissal of these charges. And I too was expecting that with Sam Page. And I've been trying to analyze from the evidentiary perspective whether or not that tells us that Sam Page is very comfortable with his defense to those criminal charges, or whether the government wasn't willing to play ball in exchange for that. We're not going to know that, obviously, for a while, but like you, I was taken aback by that.
Yeah, and I can't speak to how serious the charges are, but I think anytime you're facing an indictment, I mean, that's a big deal. So that's all looks like going to play out now through the court system, and we'll see what happens. But nonetheless, Brian Williams, I think, is the odds-on favorite to win that race.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, the other big race is the St. Charles County Executive, which was an open seat for about a year. Steve Ehlmann announced that he would not seek re-election, but he's since changed his mind. So he's in that race, running for his 5th or 6th term. And Bill Eigel, the former state senator who ran and lost the governor's primary last year, is in. And then Jason Law, who's a police lieutenant colonel in St. Louis County and the former mayor of Lake St. Louis, is also in that Republican primary race. And again, a Democrat's never been elected county executive in St. Charles, so the winner of that August primary is going to be the guy.
Right. Is this effectively a two-man race? I mean, is this between Steve Ehlmann and Bill Eigel, or is Jason Law still actually in the running?
Jason Law's raised a lot of money. In fact, as of the last campaign disclosure reports, he had the most money in the race. So, I mean, anytime you've got cash, you're a serious candidate. He's got a good story. I mean, the things he's done in Lake St. Louis, lowering taxes, removing regulations, halting expansive development there, which was very popular with the residents, but encouraging a lot of economic development in Lake St. Louis. He's got a good record to run on, not well known yet. Ehlmann, of course, very well known and a very impressive record managing that county for the last 20 years. So he'll be formidable. And Bill Eigel, who's kind of running out of that populist wing of the Republican Party that is increasingly supported by Republican primary voters, is a legitimate threat in that race, too.
I was rather surprised. I had interviewed Steve Ehlmann, and when he announced his retirement, I had talked to him on the air, and he was pretty adamant. I've done everything I need to do. It's time to turn the reins over to someone else. Any indication as to why Steve Ehlmann changed directions and got back into the race?
I think he probably became convinced that he alone could defeat Bill Eigel. And, he might be right about that. But it definitely, if this thing remains a three-person race, Bill Eigel's going to be.
Last question, John, and I'm throwing this to you without prep, but, you're definitely a professional, so you can handle it. One of the issues that I've had with regard to these propositions that we've been facing, that's what allowed abortion to be legalized in Missouri. It allowed marijuana to be legalized in Missouri. And Jefferson City really dragged their feet on changing or attempting to change the process by which ballot initiatives are put on the ballot for a statewide vote. What's the status of that currently?
So it is going to be on the ballot next year, what they call initiative petition reform, IP reform, and the people will get to vote. And what it essentially does, it makes it much harder to amend the state constitution. The proponents would say that when you have a deep pocket initiative petition effort like the abortion was a couple of years ago, you one side usually has the preponderance of the resources, and they pass it. That's been the case on the right to work question, on the expansion of Medicaid, which was funded by the hospitals, and there's no money on the no side. And so those things tend to pass with a simple majority vote of the people. What this IP would do is require the measure to pass in all 8 congressional districts in order to amend the Constitution. That's a very steep hill. And the voters are going to decide whether they prefer that or the old system.
So that, too, will be on the ballot this November.
It will. Maybe August.
Oh, I'm sorry. In August.
We don't. Yeah, the governor will assign that to a ballot. He hasn't done that yet.
Very good. Well, we'll be watching that. John Hancock, always a pleasure to talk to you, my friend.
You betcha. Take care, Brad.
Great talking to you. That was John Hancock. Of course, you know him without Michael Kelly, but apparently this week it is Hancock and Young here on KMOX. Let's check in now with Roger Brand in the overhead door company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, Brad, things are great on the highways. They have been all morning. It's a light morning. It's a holiday week. It's going to be probably this way for the rest of the week, I would imagine. So you can hang out, have an extra cup of coffee before you hit the highways, and probably make good time to get to wherever you need to get to. Just seeing a little bit of a backup right now, both directions on Manchester at Baxter, westbound more so than eastbound. So just pay attention there. Southbound 79 at TR Hughes looking better. They cleared those stalls, 70 at Kings Highway, and at 370, it looks like I'm not seeing delays at those points either. Next update at 8:30 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
And let's check in now with the Saliga heating and cooling weather from the weather desk. Today, frigid to start, sunshine mixing with clouds and remaining cold this afternoon. Should be a high of about 35 degrees. Tonight, clear and partly cloudy and brisk, which is always a nice feeling during wintertime. Low of 27. Tomorrow, partial sunshine. Need more coffee. Not quite so cold in the afternoon, high of 42. Thursday, New Year's Day, more clouds than sun and cold, high of 36. And Friday, clouds breaking for some sunshine, high of 42.
Hey, St. Louis City SC fans, mark your calendars now. The Boys in Red return to Energizer Park to kick off Season 4 Saturday, February 21st. And you could be there for the dawn of a new golden era of St. Louis soccer. Go to stlcitysc.com/tickets and reserve your seat now for the MLS home opener versus Charlotte FC. Limited quantities remain. See you soon, St. Louis.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-9834. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 five-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-9834. That's 800-575-9834. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
This holiday season, when you get them STIHL, batteries are included. Buy select battery tool sets and get a free extra battery. Visit STIHLUSA.com for gift ideas and seasonal savings. Happy holidays from STIHL. Offer valid for a limited time only at participating dealers while supplies last.
Welcome back to KMOX. Brad Young sitting in with you this morning, filling in for Megan Lynch. And one of the things I wanted to dive into is this idea of copyrights entering the public domain. What do I mean by this? Well, under the U.S. Copyright Act, and you're going to start seeing this. You've already seen some of this already over the last few years. But under the U.S. Copyright Act, ideas, images, or works, they expire 95 years from their first publication. Okay, 95 years, long time, right? However, this year, Betty Boop and Disney's Pluto are entering the public domain. What does that mean? Everybody knows Pluto, and most of you probably know Betty Boop. And these images were copyrighted. So if somebody wanted to use these images, put them on T-shirts, make a movie about them, you had to pay the owners of the copyright a licensing fee. And, of course, they've got veto rights on what you want to do. But once they enter the public domain, then anyone can do anything with it. It's fair game. But there's a twist on this. And I'm going to give you some past examples. But the twist is this. When you think of Pluto, big dog, big ears, right? Disney, Mickey Mouse's dog. But a lot of the elements of Pluto were not done in the 1930 version of Pluto. He evolved over time. So the question's going to be, and this is, Disney's got deep pockets. They can hire great lawyers. The question's going to be, if somebody wants to make a Pluto movie, how far can you go? If somebody wants to make a Betty Boop movie, a slasher movie, and that's what's popular, and I'm going to talk about that in just a moment. But if somebody wants to use that copyrighted image, once it's in the public domain, they have to continue to only use the original 1930s version. Now, we do have a little bit of a track record for how this works. I mean, for example, the last couple of years, there have been some really horrific slasher movies like Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey, okay? Winnie the Pooh, a slasher movie with Winnie the Pooh. And in that movie, though, the producers, and these are all low-budget movies, but they could only use like the 1929 version of Pluto, or rather of Winnie the Pooh. And so Disney was looking at it to see if it was the iconic Pooh Bear that you're accustomed to. That's evolved over time, so that wasn't part of the public domain. We saw the same thing this year with Bambi, The Reckoning, where Bambi becomes a mutant deer and goes on a killing spree. Again, they could only use that 1929 version. There's also a Steamboat Willie slasher movie called Screamboat. So this year, when we see Betty Boop and Disney's Pluto coming into the public domain, what's going to be interesting from a legal standpoint is, and we know that some company's going to do a knockoff slasher movie with Betty Boop or with Pluto, but they're going to have to toe the line when it comes to which version they depict on film. Because listen, if you're making a movie for $1 million, which today is nothing, you don't want to make Disney mad at you, because they're going to spend $1 million a week on lawyers to take you down. So as these movies start to come out and as these iconic characters go into the public domain, make sure that you watch to see which version of those iconic characters can be used in that public domain setting. Hey, we're going to take a break here. When we come back, more traffic and weather. And also in the next few minutes, we'll be getting to New York's law about requiring mental health warnings on social media. Could that come to Missouri? And is it even legal? This is KMOX. We'll be right back.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
Overhead Door Company of St. Louis, the genuine, the original, present 100 years of KMOX.
The threat of a pandemic has become
there when the world stood still.
My uncle got COVID.
We are averaging about 275 to 300 new cases per day right now.
The St. Charles County Health Department reports a positivity rate as high as 24%.
So in the meantime, we focus on treatments. What's the range of treatments being offered for COVID-19?
The vast majority of things is what we would call supportive care.
People are weary of loss, sacrifice, and inconvenience. They want to feel safe, to see loved ones again, and to get back to the things they enjoy.
The light at the end of the pandemic tunnel means hugging and kissing my mother again for the first time in 10 months.
There for every headline, every heartbreak, every heartbeat. KMOX, the voice of St. Louis.
This is Corey from Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation. There's never a good time for your heating system to stop working. If yours does, no matter what time or day, Air Comfort Service offers 24/7 emergency HVAC service. Contact our award-winning team for 5-star heating service and stay in your comfort zone. For heating and 24/7 emergency service, contact Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation at aircomfortservice.com. That's aircomfortservice.com.
I'm Bob Burke, founder and chairman of Burke America Parts Group, a family of brands that includes RepairClinic.com, an appliance and HVAC parts solution company that's grown into an international brand. Before AmericanEagle.com, we partially launched a new technology platform developed by another firm. American Eagle helped take our technology to a whole new level with digital marketing, software development, and business insights into our key markets, appliances, HVAC, and outdoor power equipment, and did so both on time and on budget. AmericanEagle.com has the resources, experience, and talent needed to produce solutions. Our new technology platform, developed by AmericanEagle.com, has produced tremendous results with higher traffic, conversion, engagement, and online revenue. If you have any home repairs you need to take care of, check us out at RepairClinic.com. If you need a world-class website or technology project, then I would highly recommend AmericanEagle.com.
Call AmericanEagle.com at 773-NETWORK. That's AmericanEagle.com, 773-NETWORK.
Let's check back in with Roger Brand over in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, we're still in great shape, Brad. I mean, we have been all morning. Very light traffic. This whole week's going to be that way, so no surprise. This traffic reports the service of Pine Valley Assisted Living. I do see backups still both directions on Manchester at Baxter. Westbound's almost backed up. Well, it's backed up through Henry, almost back to 141. Eastbound, surprisingly, has a shorter backup. You would think this time of day more people would be coming eastbound on Manchester, but that is the case, and that is the only jam we have on a major secondary and on the interstates. We don't have anything to speak of, even in the work zones. Things continue to cruise along nicely, so no worries. They're still seeing just a brief delay southbound 79 at TR Hughes as well. Next update at 8:40 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Looking for a beautiful, all-inclusive place for your loved one? Happy holidays from Pine Valley Assisted Living. Secure a room between now and January 31st and take advantage of our move-in special. Enjoy affordable rates with absolutely no hidden fees. Experience the beautiful life at Pine Valley. Visit rspseniorliving.com today.
Let's look at the weather again for this morning. Today, sunshine mixing with clouds and remaining cold this afternoon. High of 35. Tonight, clear and partly cloudy and brisk, low of 27. Check in on those New Year's Eve plans. It should be partial sunshine, not quite so cold in the afternoon. High of 42. And Thursday, New Year's Day, more clouds than sun. High of 36. Friday, clouds breaking for some sunshine. High of 42. Looking into your weekend, Saturday, partly sunny, high of 39. As I mentioned a couple of moments ago, New York is passed a law where they're going to require mental health warnings on social media platforms. And of course, this has been an enormous issue. Study after study has shown that our kids today are facing some mental health challenges because of this issue with social media. But the question becomes, can you force social media companies by law to put on warnings? Now, think about it. When you think about warning labels on a product, of course, cigarettes come to mind, right? With the cigarette companies, they fought this. They fought it very hard over a period of more than a decade to not have those warnings on cigarette packages. And you may say, what's the big deal? But if you look at the First Amendment doesn't just protect you from not speaking or protect you for what you want to say, but it also prevents the government from forcing you about what to say. The government cannot compel speech, just like it cannot make you say something in any other context or cannot control what you say. So in this context, this is going to be an experiment in New York as to whether or not it can withstand legal challenges as it applies to putting mandatory mental health warnings on all social media platforms. This law in New York will be challenged. I've heard rumblings that some would like to have this in both Missouri and Illinois. I think in Illinois that this effort is actually moving a little bit faster over in Illinois than it is in Missouri. But really, the New York case will be the test bed. And you may think, hey, that's a good thing about having warnings on social media. But in order to compel that speech, this science is going to have to be 100% rock solid. As it applies to cigarette companies, that was the legal tie-up for a decade or more, was whether or not the science was settled that smoking cigarettes was bad for your health. So that right now, the science is not quite that settled yet on mental health challenges with social media, particularly as it applies to kids and youth. So I think that will be the focal point as those challenges move forward in the courts, is how solid is the science as it relates to social media and mental health issues. I think we're going to head out for some spots after this, though. And when we come back later on in the hour, we're going to talk about this panhandling case going to court out of Des Peres. And can a city actually prohibit panhandling? We're going to look into that next right here on KMOX.
For 100 years, KMOX has been the voice of St. Louis, informing, entertaining, and connecting our community. Now, relive a century of service at KMOX100.com, a website that allows you to explore classic KMOX audio, rare photos and video, and the legendary voices that shaped St. Louis. Every headline, every heartbreak, every heartbeat lives on at KMOX100.com.
Let's ring in the new year by finally checking off something that actually matters. Your old videotapes and photos are fading more every year. VCRs are disappearing, and the clock is ticking to save your family's most important memories. Hi, I'm Adam Maslauger.
And I'm Nick Mako. We started Legacy Box to help you preserve your memories by converting all your videotapes, photos, and film reels into digital files. And this year, it's easier than ever.
Introducing our biggest kit yet, able to hold up to 80 videotapes or film reels or 2,000 photos. It's perfect for big collections. You can even send in old DVDs, memory cards, flip phones, or early generation iPhones.
Legacy Box is truly the easiest New Year's resolution you'll ever keep. Just fill your box and send it in. As the world's largest digitizer of home movies and photos, all work is done in the U.S., and we're trusted by over 1 million families.
Start the new year right by rescuing the moments you haven't watched in years. Go to legacybox.com/radio for an incredible 55% off. That's legacybox.com/radio for 55% off.
Brought to you by Eamon Gantner and Capriano, YourEstateMatters.com.
This is a Bloomberg Money Minute. Big AI deal in the works. Facebook parent Meta has agreed to buy Manus, a Singapore-based artificial intelligence agent, to build a business around its AI investment. Checking on your money, stock futures right now are fluctuating. Silver has bounced back a bit after yesterday's plunge. A lingering supply shortage, keeping silver on track for a monthly gain and its best annual performance still since 1979. That's thanks to strong central bank purchases and lower borrowing costs. President Trump apparently has a preferred candidate to be the next chair of the Federal Reserve, but he's in no hurry to make an announcement. The president says Jerome Powell should resign, and he says he'd love to fire him, adding he might still do so. The president says an announcement would be made in January sometime. And could there be a link between AI chatbots and psychosis? Wall Street Journal cites doctors who say chatbots can be complicit in delusions by accepting and reflecting them back to users. Denise Pellegrini, Bloomberg Radio.
Recently, a new client called me and started by saying, "Mr. Morgan, I really need your help, but I'm just a nobody." Those words stunned me, and I immediately called him back, and we're now helping him and his family after a terrible accident. I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. Everybody who comes to our firm at their time of need is a somebody. I grew up poor, but my grandmother was like a queen to us. At Morgan & Morgan, our goal is to level the playing field for you and your family at your time of need. The insurance company has unlimited money and resources. You need a firm who can fight them toe-to-toe. For right at 30 years, we have fought them in courtrooms throughout America. Our results speak for themselves. And always remember this: everybody is a somebody, and nobody is a nobody. Visit forthepeople.com to learn about our firm. Morgan & Morgan, for the people.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements. Past results afford no guarantee of future results. Every case is different and must be judged on its own merits.
Okay, we've got the chips, the fancy cheese, the sparkling cider. Oh, and I need to fill up the tank on the way home.
Look at the cart. We haven't even hit midnight yet, and you're already blowing your save money resolution for next year.
I'm not blowing it. I'm being smart. I'm using Upside.
Upside? That cashback app?
Exactly. I just claimed an offer, and just like that, I'm getting cash back on all these groceries. And I'll do the same at the gas station. It's how I earned an extra $250 this year.
Wait, $250?
Yep, that's extra cash I can cash out to my bank or throw onto gift cards to my favorite spots.
Download the free Upside app and start earning cash back now.
Use promo code POP10 for a $10 bonus on your first grocery purchase. That's promo code POP10. Make your resolution easy this year. Download the free Upside app today and use promo code POP10 for an extra $10 bonus on your first purchase.
Offers vary by user and location at participating merchants. Go to upside.com for terms and conditions.
I dared Archwell Health to keep track of my vitals and my grandkids' names.
I dared Archwell Health to simplify my prescriptions, so Max and I have more time to play. Good boy.
And I dared Archwell Health to be closer than my neighborhood coffee shop.
Our members dared us to do more as a primary care provider for adults age 60 and up. So we made it our mission. Visit archwellhealth.com and become a member today. Archwell Health. We dare to care.
Working full-time but still falling behind? Learn how real estate education can help you build income and get ahead. On your terms, text RADIO to 88007. That's RADIO to 88007. Presented by Lifestyles Unlimited.
I'm Debbie Monterey in the newsroom, and here's what's happening. A man being tracked by police after a double homicide in Warren County pulled out a gun this morning at a Forestel truck shop and killed himself. A St. Charles County judge who went viral for dressing as Elvis in his courtroom has been permanently stripped of his robes by the Missouri Supreme Court. President Trump says the U.S. has hit a dock facility as he wages a pressure campaign on Venezuela, but he offered few details. Israel says it will suspend several humanitarian organizations, including Doctors Without Borders, for failing to meet its new rules to vet international organizations working in Gaza.
Let's go back to Roger Brand over in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center. Hey, Roger.
Well, Brad, we're working to wrap up a crash on the ramp from, it's been a long day of not much happening, I guess. The crash is on the ramp from 270 getting on to Ballast. They had the ramp completely closed a few minutes ago. They've reopened it, but there's still a lot of emergency crews on the ramp, so it's partially restricted again. That's the ramp from 270 getting on to Ballast over there at Missouri Baptist. So still seeing the backups both ways on Manchester at Baxter. Westbound's jammed at 141. Eastbound has a shorter backup there. They're reporting a stall still out there. I don't see the delays. Westbound 70 near Kings Highway, so watch it as you come around the bend through West Florissant out of the city, and they're working in the right lane now, northbound on Lindbergh near New Halls Ferry as well. I'm Roger Brand at the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
You know, Roger seemed kind of excited to actually have something to talk about there in the traffic.
That's the highlight of the morning.
It's the highlight of the morning. The other highlight of the morning is that it is going to be a little bit warmer today. So if you're worried about getting outside today, we should see a high of 35, which is certainly a whole lot better than what we had over the last couple of days. As I mentioned before the break, one of the issues that's been facing St. Louis County over the last few years is an attempt to regulate panhandling. You've seen it. I've seen it. We've all seen it. The question is, what can government do about it? Several years ago in St. Louis County, there was an ordinance that said no panhandling. So a particular gentleman who was panhandling hired Beavis Shock. They went to court, and they got a $150,000 judgment against St. Louis County because of infringements on First Amendment rights, because the idea is that they're exercising free speech, and therefore any attempt to ban that speech violates their First Amendment rights and entitles them to damages. This particular individual, after getting a $150,000 verdict, went right back to panhandling. He said that's his job. He's going to continue to do it, even though he scored a six-figure judgment before attorney's fees, of course. He went right back to doing it. So then the question is, what can be done? Well, right now on the forefront in St. Louis County on this issue is Des Peres. Des Peres passed a city ordinance, not banning speech, mind you, but phrasing the statute, the ordinance, in such a way as calling it a health and safety issue. So the question is, will this pass muster? Will this be upheld by the courts? Or will the city of Des Peres have to pay a judgment if they stop people from panhandling? And really the focus is going to be exactly the wording of the statute and what it means. Because under the First Amendment, panhandling is protected speech. Now, I've got this theory, and I mentioned cigarettes a few moments ago and the warning labels that had to go on cigarette labels. One of the things under constitutional law, when we talk about speech, is all speech is not created equal. Speech is treated differently. So, for example, that's why cigarettes cannot advertise on television. That's free speech. How can you ban that? Because cigarettes amount to commercial speech. When someone's trying to sell Marlboros or Winstons or whatever other cigarettes are out there, they're trying to sell you a product. And constitutionally, commercial speech is treated differently than, say, political speech, than religious speech. So one of the things that I have not seen tested, and perhaps this will be the case here in the city of Des Peres situation, is can panhandling be classified as commercial speech? Because they're not out there preaching the gospel. They're not out there telling people to vote for Trump or to not vote for Trump or to advance a political agenda, which those things have the highest degree of protection. They're out there asking for money. So at its very nature, panhandling is commercial speech. So hopefully, as this case as a case gets going in Des Peres regarding their statute, I would love to see the court address this idea that panhandling enjoys total First Amendment protection because, again, at its very nature, it's commercial speech. What would pass muster? Well, as I took a deep dive into this yesterday, there are lots of cases, both in Missouri and across the country, where courts have readily upheld what's called content-neutral median or roadway occupancy rules. In other words, it doesn't matter what you're saying. They're not attempting to ban any certain type of speech. It doesn't matter what you're saying, so it's called content-neutral. What the ordinance in Des Peres is trying to do is to say, regardless of what you're saying, you can't be in the middle of the highway. Regardless of what you're saying, you can't approach cars when they're driving or stopping at a stoplight. Why? Because it's a health and safety issue. And so really the crux of this, as we see the Des Peres law or the ordinance challenged in court over the coming year in 2026, the question is going to be, is there an alternate space for the speech? Let me give you a different example. If I came to your neighborhood with a bullhorn at 3 a.m. and wanted to tell you about the glories of reduced size of government, I'm going to get arrested with a bullhorn at 3 a.m. in your neighborhood. Why? Because time and place restrictions. I can say it at 2 in the afternoon, but I can't not say it at 3 o'clock in the morning. So there are time and place restrictions on speech. So as we look at this Des Peres ordinance and as it moves forward in the courts, the question is going to be, does the ordinance in Des Peres allow for alternative places to speak? For example, if you want to talk while you're on the sidewalk, that's completely fine. We don't want you in the street because it could be a danger to yourself and others. That, I think, would pass constitutional muster. However, if it just bans all of the speech and doesn't make allowances for speech on the sidewalks, which would not pose a health or a safety risk, then that could trigger a harsh challenge to the Des Peres ordinance if there's not a mechanism in place to allow people to continue to speak, whether it's panhandling or anything else, on sidewalks where they would not be in any harm to themselves or to others. Hey, after this break, you heard it teased earlier in the hour. St. Louis, we lost our sheriff. Sheriff Alfred Montgomery was removed from office. But the question becomes, and this is a big issue, who gets to appoint his replacement? Because the election's not going to be until March, according to the Board of Aldermen. But who gets to appoint the replacement? The governor says he gets to. The St. Louis mayor says she gets to. The St. Louis Board of Aldermen say they get to. What's actually going to happen? We'll cover that next, right here on KMOX.
Experience a celebration of movement and music as the St. Louis Symphony Orchestra and St. Louis Dance Theater join together for Stravinsky and Debussy Music and Motion. This adventurous collaboration reimagines Stravinsky's Pulcinella Suite in an entirely new way. that celebrates powerful partnerships between dance and music. January 10th and 11th at Powell Hall at the Jack C. Taylor Music Center. Tickets at slso.org.
Setting goals for retirement is one thing, but knowing how to achieve those goals is another.
What are your wishes, hopes, and dreams? What's retirement look like for you? Because everybody, that picture is different.
For tips on building a better nest egg, tune in to the All Financial Hour with host Steve All, Saturday mornings at 10 or Sunday evenings at 6, right here on KMOX. You can also visit yourmoneymattersstl.com for more details.
Bernie Miklas here for Saliga Heating and Cooling. Our family's called the Saliga family for 18 years, and we are grateful for Saliga's honesty, knowledge, and professionalism. They're the best. For more info, visit SaligaHeatingandCooling.com.
If you're trying to sell your home, there's only one group of agents in town I trust, Mark and Neil Gelman of eXp Realty. My friends Mark and Neil have the best system, options, and strategies to connect you to the best qualified buyers, getting your home sold fast and for top dollar. Check out thegelmanteam.com.
Nominations for the 2026 Women of Achievement are now open. The St. Louis Area Award is the oldest ongoing program in the area whose sole mission is to honor and recognize the volunteer service and volunteer leadership of women. If you know an outstanding volunteer in the St. Louis metropolitan area, or if you are one, Women of Achievement wants to hear from you. Nominations, including self-nominations, may be submitted now through January 11th. Head to KMOX.com for more information.
Welcome back to KMOX. As I mentioned before the break, there's a very prescient legal issue right now. Who gets to appoint the new city sheriff? Because we don't have a sheriff, we have an interim sheriff, but who gets to appoint that person? The mayor says he does. The governor says he does. The St. Louis mayor says she does. The St. Louis Board of Aldermen say they do. So why is this issue present, and how will it get resolved? Well, it really messes things up because St. Louis City is not in a county, all right? So that's where the problem comes. And if you look up under Missouri statutes, I think it's section 57.080, under that statute, it provides in Missouri that a county commission fills sheriff vacancies. Okay, that seems clear, but St. Louis City's not in a county. So that would seemingly not apply. There's a specific St. Louis Sheriff statute, 57.450, but under that specific sheriff statute, it doesn't say anything about who gets to appoint a vacancy to the sheriff's position. So there's this vacuum now of power as to who gets to do this. But what's interesting is this. If you take a look at the Missouri Constitution, Article 6, Section 31, it recognizes the city of St. Louis as both a city and a county. So even though you've got different competing statutes about the powers of the St. Louis sheriff, who gets to appoint the St. Louis sheriff, or who gets to appoint a sheriff in a county, even though there's these competing statutes out there, at the end of the day, the Missouri Constitution, Article 6, Section 31, recognizes that the city is both a city and a county. So what does that mean? It means that I think once this goes to the courts are going to look at this and analyze it along the following lines. They're going to say, well, state law says a county commission. The Constitution says that the city is also a county. St. Louis City doesn't have a commission. But what is a commission? A commission is what? A board of people who make decisions. Well, the St. Louis City has a board of people who make decisions. It's called the Board of Aldermen. So even though the wording is different, even though the actual phrase would be the nomenclature here is different in the city than it is in Missouri law when it talks about a county commission, at the end of the day, that's the closest thing I think we have to an answer. So even though we've got these competing government authorities saying we get to appoint the interim sheriff, I think at the end of the day, when the courts actually compare these various statutes and various provisions in the Missouri Constitution, when you roll all that up together, then the result, I think, will eventually be that the Board of Aldermen has the power to appoint a sheriff. So that raises then another question, and that is, who will it be and when will it happen? Because the Board of Aldermen have set the election for March. So how long will it take? Right now, John Hayden, former St. Louis City police commissioner, he right now is sitting as the interim sheriff for the city of St. Louis. And he's also announced that he would like to fill that position permanently. But now you also had yesterday Vernon Betts, who was the sheriff before Alfred Montgomery. He's now thrown his proverbial hat back into the ring to be the next St. Louis City sheriff. So the question is going to be, who serves between now and March, and does John Hayden get to continue in this job while these various government entities fight among themselves about who has the power to appoint the sheriff? And isn't it interesting that there is this fight anyway? I mean, the various government agencies, whether it's the governor or the mayor or the Board of Aldermen, are all squabbling over who has this power to act. But really, at this point, this is one of those odd situations where doing nothing, I think, would actually be the best outcome, because right now we've got John Hayden in that position. By all accounts, he's doing a very good job. And think about this, the role of the sheriff. That was part of the problem that Alfred Montgomery had, because traditionally in the city of St. Louis, the sheriff's office has made two major functions. Aside from providing some security for courthouses, they've had two major functions. And that is, number one, they serve papers like service of process, serving lawsuits, serving subpoenas, those types of things. Secondly, they would transport criminals, inmates, from the prison to the hospital when they needed medical care. Well, that was a traditional function of the sheriff's office. However, that was never done actually by law until the Board of Aldermen changed the law recently. Alfred Montgomery refused to comply, and that triggered all of the problems that we've been seeing during the past year. Well, I'll be following this, and of course, I'll be updating you more right here on KMOX. But before the Chris and Amy show, which is coming up at 9 o'clock, let's check back in with the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center, Roger Brand.
Do drastic fluctuations in weather actually make you sick? Well, ask former U.S. Surgeon General Dr. Jerome Adams. Plus, Neil Forever is coming to the factory in Chesterfield next week. We'll chat with the lead singer, David Jacobson. It all starts at 9 a.m. on The Chris and Amy Show on KMOX.
Time now for today's Spotlight on Money, sponsored by University of Maryland Global Campus.
Numerous studies over the years have said that disagreements about money are the number one source